hard to tear you apart. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. 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 Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough.
It's LV Europa. Whatever you do, make sure you do it in the toughest environment. That's the only way we grow. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. Who the toughest, who the strongest, who the smartest? Hitting the stage, PowerPoint, and I'm going through papers regardless. Listen up, got a point to prove, but I'm moving on, cause you niggas retarded. Toughest environment, only up make you a target. You don't want that smoke, shit your body last week, run down on the whole Christina class with Napah. Oh my gosh, I think you the GOAT, no rigmarole. Still take total control, just put my shit at the top of the pole. Toughest environment. Listen, just get it, I'm still past a minute, I work every minute, and maybe I'm on with Chris and his thoughts, and I thought you should know that this ain't a scrimmage. And I'm shaping you right, molding you tight to be in the image of toughest environment. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. I'm sure we can work this out, just get in the ring. You better be Zion Lexa, this best of divine prospect when he doing this thing. Or Captain Tazari, out there, cross that line, I get away clean. Or Ali Muhammad, so valid, still got me up on my team. All of it brought together because of the studio. Stop acting like y'all could have been doing that cause you didn't do it though. And I watched them lions get ran out of the den, this shit'll get crucial. Who you know take the whole damn stage and turn that shit to a musical. Stay in your cubicle. The environment's tough, don't wire me up, I'm calling your bluff. I'm running it back and I'm running it back like it's never enough. Got them diamonds in the rough, and we can't get to every treasure, but you gotta help me dig it up. But to me it's like whatever. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. It's LV Europa. Whatever you do, make sure you do it in the toughest environment.
Time to set the stage with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe till the fight's lost. You ain't never like the room with the bright sauce. Hail Mary, they despise what the light brought. Let them roach niggas bleed if they can't see. Side at a TV, what you can't be. They say that murder on my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, I need me your love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might leave when the sun sets. And they don't really wanna bleed from the gunplay. And like mine, nigga smoking weed on the one-way street, nigga. Yeah, we see we outside with it. Pull up to the base like we might be with it on guard. Side these niggas like bullshit and they fraud. Let me chop them down with the sword. Walk them down like they live hard. This the toughest you gon' be in, we too hard. And you don't really want that smoke, my G. Who would be siding at a TV? This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment. environment to be in. Keep that off your lip before you get flipped. We got sources over here, we don't just spit. Too many bosses over here, y'all just legit. Put them niggas in the game, let them get real. Don't even step unless you come in with that scholarship. That economic tip, gotta make a dollar flip. And I might be next, I don't give a damn, a truth rolling with me, so I'm feeling like the son of man. Too many gon' hate, gotta make a stand. I'm just trying to duck the lake, you don't understand. Read them when I greet them, that's my best plan. Head first shit, I'm just saying. Nigga meet me in LA, oh you just playing. Too many be fake, what the base saying. So I tell them they don't want no smoke before they end up in the newspaper next day. Smoke. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Just the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. And this is it right here. The toughest you gon' ever be in. You wasn't conscious before us. Y'all niggas was asleep. We woke the sleeping giant. We did it. Side nigga TV. So stay your ass in your little bitty box where you feel safe. Cause it's motherfucking monsters over here. Real monsters.
Peace and Pan-Africanism to Brother Herman Smalls in the toughest environment you can be in.
Peace, assalamu alaikum. Yes, assalamu alaikum to the Sun at our studios audience. Hate me, love me, love me, love me. I am Napah, and we are about to get into some information. It doesn't matter if you love me or hate me. We're about to do this. Peace to the audience. Peace to especially to the mods who take care of everything. So I want to say thank you, Barn Dog. I see Reese, my brother Reese. Amin Ra McCarthy was here earlier. So was Sakina Ra. But I see Barn Dog and Reese are here. You are very important. I know you could be doing anything, but you're here right now. So peace and love to you. So I decided to come onto this channel because, you know, it's been sitting up here. Sitting in my room. You know that song by Brandy. It's been sitting here and it's been like, you know, it's been here and it's great and everything. But Sonnetter Studios is great. Despite what y'all want to say about Napah and Sonnetter and their relationship, I always say HOK is the greatest platform ever. And that goes for Sonnetter Studios. With that said, I needed to come over here, family, and I do want to teach, and I'm going to be very serious. I'm kind of joking around right now, but I'm very serious. I see 76 people in the house. That's more than enough for me, baby. Trust and believe. But hit the like, my loves. So let's get into the information. Somebody said, so too much singing. I got to highlight Golden Heart. I like that. I love it. I love the sister said too much singing. Where's the video? I love it and I hear you. So without further ado, Jesus, the serpent in the garden. There, interestingly, we've had Hebrews, Christians, atheists, Gnostics, and Chemetics talking about Brother Reggie, as well as Muslims talking about Morpheus. Okay, and if they are going to get emotional, because I named them specifically, Gnostics would be Mandinka Mali and Lex Vortex. Christians would be my sister, Christina Nick. She ain't mad. I love the sisters. They're very tough. They're not mad. And also Hebrews, Naphtali came against it. Torah only, Judah Nazareth, he is retarded, bipolar, sick, mentally disturbed ass, came against it. But he does study Torah. But let's talk about it. A lot of people came against this teaching. But what I love about the community, they always say, nobody's talking about this besides Napah. And somebody said, oh, somebody wants to act like it's just me, it's just me. When people come out and talk about their thought that they created and that they formed and that they teach, there's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to Brother Reggie with the city plan. Shout out to all our brothers and sisters with their original thought. Especially Bobby Hemmett. Oh my goodness. Who bows down to that brother? I do, in information. And what we do as we talk about the collective mind, right? We talk about the consciousness that is the whole of all. So then one person says something. I learned from Brother Reggie about Kemet in a secular way, not religious. Then I learned from my brother Jabari, who I have always loved. We've had, some rough spots, but I've always loved. I love Jabari. He's a real brother. I'm only talking about Jabari. He's truly a Ma'at priest, so I learned from him, right? So I learned from him, and then I come into my own consciousness, and I say, hold on. Oh, I forgot to say number one, the king. Sarnetter's really, he took the, in the Olympics where they have the torch and they light it. Sarnetter lit the flame, and he said, Jesus, but the serpent didn't lie. When he said that reminded me in exegesis, exegesis to the newcomers trying to come in and try to teach the Bible. Exegesis, shout out to the apologists. In exegesis, it says Jesus had no lies in his mouth. So shout out to Sarnetter with his depth in the Bible. Now, without further ado, peace and love to you, Hybrid Cipher. Where is Sa? Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. Why? Why are you asking such a silly, weird question? Is he okay? He's not just okay. He is the God of all of these channels. So let's move on. Let's do this. Let's do Jesus is the serpent. And you see the title. If you tuned in for the title like Golden Heart was like, get with it. She probably was irritated with me because I went into my diatribe about all, the basics. Jesus is the serpent in the garden. Let us use Kemet and other ancient spiritual texts to teach the critics. So what is the snake? First off, in the scripture, I gotta start. If you don't know the scripture, please just catch up and read it. But in the Bible, there is a snake, a so-called snake, aka serpent, that goes against, according to the story, it's exoteric. Y'all, we're gonna be going up and down like a wave. You know the wave, it goes up and down. You're high up on the surface of the water. You're only in 1, 2, 3 feet. Then you go deep down to 12, 16 feet. Then you come back up. So we're doing a wave. That's also seen as sound. You're on a frequency. So stay with me. We're going to do exoteric, esoteric. You want to know, you are the darkest minds of the light, right? So stay with me. We're coming to the top, which says the serpent was the one that broke away and told them to do something against the Elohim. If you need guidance, I love you, so I will grab that right now. Let me get the scripture. Yes, hit the like. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Hit the like. This is a little bit more exciting than most of the streams. Most of the time when you're in here, you're kind of falling asleep, but you need the information. But right now, it's going to be lit. I'm just starting with a slow smolder, all right? So hit the like so you can get this channel lit. Peace to my... There you are. Oh, my God. These two. This one right here, I was calling you because I need you to come in and add your information. Sakina and Sherilyn, you know you're my heart. So, and Soup Bones here too. So, got it. Now, all right, let's get this right here. Let's share because we're walking it down like we're little boys. Enemies, little people, not just boys. So, let's look at Genesis chapter 1. I wasn't even going to do this because in my PowerPoint it's kind of intermediate, but I'm going to go to beginnings because there are people who don't even, they've been making their money, living their life, living a great life. They don't look at the Bible. So let me show my brothers and sisters this part so they can see, oh, okay, I'll see where she's coming from. So we're in the Bible, Genesis chapter 1. And it says, in the beginning, that word God, if you read it from the original text, it says Elohim. In fact, Napah, what are you doing? Sorry, Salakia, Baba Kusha. Let me go ahead and get the actual Hebrew for, because I forgot that I'm in the smart section. I'm in the toughest environment where people do not play. So let me get the blue letter. Please forgive me. Okay. Let's get the blue letter. All right. So in the blue letter, let's go back to the family. Let's screen share. Let's do all of this. There we go. My bad. Please forgive me. All right. So now, why did I do that, people, family, friends, those who haven't been here a lot? Because I don't speak Hebrew fluently, and probably I'm going to say about 70-80% of you don't speak Hebrew fluently. But in this particular website, they will show us the actual words, the actual meaning of the Hebrew. You get what I'm saying? So it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. So let's hit tools. This is called the blue letter. And in tools, if you notice, it says in the beginning, R.I.S.E. But we want to go to God. Why do I want to go to God, my loves? Because look at the word. If you can't see it, I'll enlarge it a little bit. It's already 150. I'll do 200. So you see it says Elohim, because Elohim, I want you to see that it's plural. But the church and all the pastors and the slave masters and all the Spanish bastards told us, oh, yeah, that's God, that's God. Let's hear about Elohim. Here it goes.
Strong's H 430, entry 1. Eloach. Eloach.
Singular.
Second entry, Elohim. Elohim. And the third entry, Eloach. Eloach.
So they're thorough in the blue letter because they tell us the singular, which is Eloah. But in the scripture, in the actual text, and we will go back to it, it is Elohim. And when you put the I am, it is indicating that it is plural. Why is that important? Because it tells us it is more than one entity, more than one entity represented. It is a council. Dare I say what scripture says? A divine council. So now you see where I gotta walk this. I want to walk this down like one foot in front of the other. Get it? Baby steps. Like, mommy, I did. You know, get what I'm saying? You're gonna take tiny baby steps. Walk them down like we're little. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why? Because that way we cover more ground thoroughly. Elohim is what is in Genesis chapter 1. a council. Now I'm going to stop right now and I'm going to look in the chat because this is interactive. Even if we only get right here and then we close the show, we're going to talk. So does everybody get that? No? Thank you, R.I.S.E. You know you're my brother. You know you Sunetter's one of Sunetter's good friends. I love you. Thank you. Get to the point. No, Rom. See right here, Rom Fitness. This brother has been studying for a long time. And Rom Fitness, I used to do that, brother. So I'm not even mad at you, but no, my friend. Everyone does not know that. So keep working out on your lats and your deltoids. But everyone doesn't know that because my sister, and I think everybody knows, she comes ahead of you, Rom Fitness. This angel face sister is learning. And she said the milk of the word. She doesn't do that, brother. And I know Rom Fitness is like, oh shit. She looks beautiful. All right. Walk it down slow for her. So there we go. Okay. Everybody's not where you are, Rom. That's not where you are. So everyone being serious, peace to you, Knowledge 4 and 7. So did you see Elohim? Because I'm being funny, but really a lot of people don't know. That's not just one God. In fact, Yahweh, the name, and don't get me into that, but the name of Yahweh wasn't even there in the original text. It was inserted centuries later. Yes. That's what I'm talking about, Scorpion. That is what I am saying. And y'all, we have time? Because y'all are already learning. Let's not play. See, I don't sit in here and go, and you know that you came to the right place and you will never, ever find information anywhere else. No, you're here. Even if you only get this little thing about the Elohim, I'm happy to do this. And I'm getting this from my sister Sakina. And from everybody. So we'll get there, Rom. Rom was like, I want to hear about the serpent. But okay, got it. But do we get it that it's the Elohim, right? Got it. Now, I'm slow. Okay, I hear you. Don't get nothing on you. Don't get nothing on you. That's a Karen way to say it. Don't get nothing on you. All right. So, being real though, being serious. I'm kind of making it fun, but honestly, because this channel needs fun. Nobody can top Sonnet or down. Gosh. I don't care what I say or anybody says. That man is like a genius with entertainment and information all in one. But I digress. So did you see it's Elohim, right? So when you read it and it says God, you know that it's really a council. Dare I get my brother Rom and other people who are more advanced, get them any more upset, but I gotta go and do this for some of the family. I already pulled it up. And we're going to quickly, I promise you to all the advanced people who know this already, this isn't going to be long. But I got to show the people about, I'm going through all my annoying tabs. I want to show you something amazing. Let's go ahead and go over this particular video. Yes, video. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, covered by fair use law. And I will be pausing it and giving the commentary. So listen to this. Grade 5-9, you are too deep for us, brother, and I'm not, or sister. Give me a minute. Give me 1 second, okay? And I'm not being funny. I found something that I want to share. So I want you to see this. Because you're going to know that there was a divine counsel. When we say God, wow, like we already conceptualize our own God. Some of us don't even say it's God, the atheists. They get angry. They say, shut up. God might. Okay, so let's get to this video. I'm going to go in. Oh, you're a man? Okay, thank you. Okay, look at this. In all seriousness. Yes, videos are fun. They keep people's interest and also fair use. according to the channel. I will do it right according to YouTube guidelines. Listen to this, right? We're talking about a divine counsel. All right, ready? Let's listen.
Believed in some kind of spiritual realm.
Stop.
For most of human history, people have believed in some kind of spiritual realm that exists alongside the world as we know it.
Right.
Did we not talk about conceptualization of God, and we were all together and we're thinking like once we ate the meat and the expensive tissue hypothesis? I love y'all for listening to that. Shout out to Dulcinea when I debated her about primates. When we started to get this higher consciousness, we sat in the middle of field, and this video hit my heart because like, oh my God, people have heard me teach this. I said, we sat in the field and we saw fires out in the distance. And we saw those fires out in the distance. And then we saw fires up in the sky. Because we knew somebody was there, because we saw those people moving before the sun went down. The other tribes. I'm doing air quotes. So we knew when we saw them out in the distance, in the wilderness or the forest, whatever you call it, we knew that was that. We knew for a fact that those were people or whatever. Those were beings. And when we looked up in the sky, the same dot in far off in the darkness was a fireball in the sky. We said that must be other people. Then we started to conceptualize gods. Why am I saying that? Because when I saw this video, it hit me in my heart, like we're all resonating somehow. I know they're people. I don't care what they look like. They are listening. And so when you look at this illustration, why did I go that far in? Because these people who drew this illustration, who talk about the divine counsel, they're going to tell you, they're showing you like, oh, the ones who are up in the heavens. That's divine counsel. Okay, I said a lot. Let's look.
And the biblical authors are no exception.
Yeah, for them, the spiritual realm is a different kind of realm than ours. And to highlight that difference, the Bible refers to God's space as the sky or the heavens.
Because the sky is really different from the land. It's above and beyond. And up there are shiny bodies that move around. I think of these as flaming gas balls.
But when the biblical authors looked up, the stars gave them a way to talk and think about spiritual beings. In the Bible, they're called the sons of God, or the...
let me look in the chat because I love you. See, I'm just going to interrupt. Do you get what I'm saying? Peace, my love. I love Benita. Let me see what my brother Lex Vortex says. You don't need a source. It's the Bible. He says he is literally called Yahweh Elohim. She's totally off. Okay, Lex, my friend. Well, you know what? I'm here. You know, you said the thing about love. I'm here. There's no ego. So I'm here for you to actually speak. He says, Lex, you can come in and have a full voice. Yahweh is a part of the gods called Elohim. But Lex, I'm not saying even, Lex, you're going too far ahead of everybody, my friend. You're trying to put chunks of meat into the bottle of milk that we're giving the babies, like Sherlyn. So you said this is silly. It's not silly to those who are not as knowledgeable as you, Lex. So calm down. I want your input right now, but this isn't a battle, okay? But I want the people to see, and even you agree, say you don't, or you know what, I can drop the link for you. You think, oh no, I won't do this. But Lex, people don't know what you know. They don't know what I know. They don't know these things. So I digress. Wait. I think that's the link. So, all right, we got it. It's not, this isn't one of those streams. This is a stream to let people make a decision, just like you did, Lex. Lex put his face in 10,000 books for 18 years, but some people aren't doing that, Lex. They're working, and so these people want to. I'm catching them up to speed. There's a council of gods. Even in Gnosticism, it says that. All right, so got it. So y'all get what I'm saying. Wait, this is my sister. She says, I'm very interested in this topic. I've never heard of this information. And I'd like to highlight her. It just so happens that she's drop dead gorgeous, and this is not a troll. She really looks like this. and she's really sweet, and she's really a woman. It just so happens that she is somebody who came from another community into our community, and she's like, okay, I'm learning all this stuff. That's the beautiful thing about this community, about Sonetter's channel. Forget the community thing, let's be real, about Sonetter's channels. So Lex Vortex, this is my point. Some people, he said people know. Some people don't know, Lex. Some people do not know this information. And even some people say, oh, I don't even know what's going on here. So Lex, let's work together on this. You can be against me as far as who Yahweh is, but we're doing the basics right now. And I know you know how to team up with me. Whatever you think, we both feel the same way about each other. But I'm talking about the basics. So now let's keep it rolling, like live sound. 11 said. So, okay, Lex, got it. Then you can fix that. But let's get the basics down. If the basics are wrong, talk specifically about the basics. Be a teacher that you are. Come in and say, well, no, Lex thinks I hate him. I don't hate him. You are a very good teacher. Your philosophies and your doctrines are against mine, but at the basics, we are aligned, and you cannot say we're not. Stop. Now, can we get back to teaching the people about the council? Because there wasn't this one God that created people and that sat back and said, I am God, I love you so much. Lex agrees with that. He's going to acquiesce to, oh, here he is. Great. All right. Perfect. Lex.
You feeling like getting along today?
Yes, and I want you to do this as we get along, like Christ and Satan, Jesus and Satan. You pick a lane. I don't care who I am, but let me say this before you go. Let's do this for people who do not even think of this stuff. You agree that there was not just one singular God that was in the creation story. That's all I'm going for. Or can we not? And remember, before Lex, I know you have a complex mind. I know you're very deep. I don't. We never said you're not, but I need you to take baby steps for those who have never ever thought about this. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, anybody who studies the Bible and all these discussions, people didn't went over Elohim how many times?
But Cheryl Lynn doesn't study the Bible, brother.
Yeah, well, she's not. That means it's not her interest anyway. Then
No,
if she
it
doesn't,
is, Lex. Now you're being like exclusive.
she's just saying that because she wants to appease you.
No,
I'm
I
interested.
know where she came from, Lex. I know where she came from. She came from a political, from like the kind of like.
But here's my issue with what you do, and that's just, you try to say that the Elohim are the ones who were doing the lies and the evil, so you can keep worshiping Yahweh. When Yahweh is the head of the Elohim.
Yes.
He's a part of the Elohim. Is not a separate God. It's just a plural form of saying the gods, which Yahweh is a part of.
And I agree with it. Guess what? Fine.
So it wasn't the Elohim who lied to Adam. It was Yahweh.
You're going too far ahead, but I understand. See, Lex Vortex.
But I hear you say that all the time.
But I'm not saying I don't say it, but I wanted to come in and do the baby steps. See, there are people in the chat like you, like, come on, just go for it. Like Chuck Diesel's like, shut up, stop rambling. I already know this. But there are people who don't know this, and that's my purpose.
All right, that's fine. But are you gonna continue to try to separate Yahweh from the Elohim?
No, Yahweh is definitely a part of the Elohim.
All right, so
I never separated that.
Yes, you did. You said that it was the Elohim. It wasn't Yahweh.
I never said it wasn't Yahweh. I said Yahweh Shai.
No, you said he was the serpent, but you said the Elohim's the one that lied.
Yeah, why do you think I don't say Yahweh is a part of the Elohim that lied?
You don't. You always try to make that
I
separation.
never said that, my friend.
Okay, so Yahweh lied to Adam then.
That's a different topic. You're
No,
going.
it's not.
You know
No,
what
it's
you're doing? You know what, Lex?
see,
I love
that's
you.
what I mean.
Lex.
You're
I
trying to
love you,
have
Lex. Lex, I love you, but you are
no, you
so
don't.
ready to fight me. Yes, I do. Listen, you want to go on a trigonometry? Can we please do this stream where you can help me step by step? I don't even have to. If you want to say, Lex,
I'm helping you now. Just stop
let's
teaching
walk
that.
them down slowly. Can we get back to, and then you can start. I haven't even gone to the serpent in the garden yet. Let me just get over the divine counsel.
Yeah, yeah, do your thing. I just want to let you know that. You know?
Got it. I hear you, and I'm right there.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Okay.
everyone's. I think I'm going to play a little bit more of this. You can tell me to pause if you want to jump in and say, "Okay, I'm going to elaborate on that," or "Let me clear that up." But I'm going to play a little more of a random video about the divine counsel, because Lex, everybody doesn't know that there wasn't one God. They don't know that there was a divine counsel. Okay, so let me play about 20-30 more minutes or seconds of this.
Rulers and authorities, or even sometimes the divine council.
So that sounds really important. What does the divine council do?
Well, they're introduced in Genesis chapter 1, where they're called the host of heaven, that is, the sun, moon, and stars. And there, they're also called signs, meaning that their power and status symbolizes and points to God's power and status.
Yeah, so in Genesis 1, God appoints them to rule over the day and night.
Exactly. And then later in the Bible, we're told that they were celebrating God's power and creativity when he created the world.
Like the cheering section of a game.
Yeah, right. There are also stories in the Bible where God invites the divine council to participate in making a decision. Like when they help decide how to bring down the corrupt Israelite king Ahab. Or in the book of Job, where they debate God's policy of rewarding people who do good.
So they're like God's staff team. But why does God need a team? If he's powerful enough to create the whole universe, he could surely rule it without any help.
Well, he doesn't need them. But apparently, the God of the Bible wants to share authority with others.
Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. I think that's good enough to say about the divine counsel. I'm going to let you. Oh, shit. Somebody said no sound. Could you hear that, Lex? Hello, you're muted.
Yeah, I heard it. Must be them.
Damn. Everybody heard that, right? Bonita, put a 1. Charlene, Immortal Dragon. Okay, so I just wanted to okay, they heard it. So somebody said, Keith Brodney said no sound. What? Okay, they're saying the sound was fine. So now I laid that groundwork because you know why, right? I'm talking about the divine counsel, the Elohim. That is, people are so hurt, like God didn't do this. Peace to Hootie, peace everybody, peace to King. So before I go to my PowerPoint, you want to say something?
No. The divine council, yes, a group of wicked extraterrestrials headed by Yahweh. Yeah.
Okay, great. So now you are saying that council is led by Yahweh, aka Yahweh. So now I'm going to go to my PowerPoint, which is from my debate. I haven't even done a new one. So I said, literal snakes of the animal kingdom do not hold conversations. I did that for Black Jesus. So let's go on. I talked about this, Isaiah 45:3, to just help people get ready to look deeper. And it says, and I will give thee treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord, which called thee by thy name, am the God of Israel. And then I go into the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 14:2 says, for he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God. For no man understandeth him, howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries. So I'll let you, comment on that. What to the audience, Lex? What do you usually teach about? Because I know you say there's only, everyone shouldn't have the Bible, right? Why do you say that?
Well, because it was never intended for everyone to have the Bible. The Bible was different scrolls that the priests used in temples. It wasn't for the masses. They would go, if they wanted to learn, they would go to the temple, to the priest. With advent of the printing press and all that stuff changed, but a lot of this stuff was never meant for the masses. That's why it's so much confusion with all these different opinions and people arguing over fighting what it means. They haven't been initiated in nothing, and they're ignorant in the language of symbolism. So, and they trample on wisdom. That's why they were secret societies. You see how now the people just take this. This is information. That's why it says don't cast your Jews among swine. People don't, this information people died over. Some people really live it. It's stuff that can, you know, empower people for good or evil. So it was protected information. It wasn't used just for sport or just for even debate. And so this information can break someone or make someone. It wasn't to be played with. Now it's in Barnes and Nobles. And so the average Joe just grab it and get on YouTube and start teaching and not really grounded in, you know. And you notice it always used the word mysteries. And that's the key right there. It's a mystery system. That's what I always try to tell people. So you can't read it like a novel or like just, or think it all just makes some like, you know, chronological story. It's a bunch of things putting together, but the mystery is encoded within, you know, all the stories on the surface.
When you say encoded on the surface, so I agree. Let me try to articulate this correctly. In my understanding, for what I've seen, there was always a hidden, because of what you said, as far as a protection, not only of the knowledge, but more of those who may be the practitioners. But in this era, this time that we're in now, is it not true that this information is becoming unlocked and opened up to everyone, because it's time for everyone to just, like in the scriptures when he says no one, I'm paraphrasing, in the New Testament it says everyone will know about it, basically. They say Messiah, but I'm saying, is it not now a time where the information is unlocked and given to everyone to let them, you know, spiral up, or no, in the paradigm?
No, it's definitely being given. It's available to everyone, but it's not. It doesn't matter. It's gonna go back underground eventually. But because what are they doing with the information? So the reason that makes this information secret is because even if you tell someone without the proper dedication training, they won't understand it anyway. So people think secret means they don't tell you. It's secret because even if I tell you, you're not going to know. So yeah, I believe the information is, you know, obviously with the advent of the internet and, you know, all type of information being put out there. But I'm gonna tell you, I really feel like, you know, I understand why secret societies were so important. Just watching the way people deal, and they have no respect for the information, and the information is only as strong as it's respected. It's like, you know, this, some of this stuff is very sacred, and people just turn it into blood sport, and that's why the information was protected. It's like, you know, so that's my take on it. I think This is something that people actually live or not. Some people paid heavy prices to understand this information, gave up certain things in their lives, lost their lives. The Cathars were hunted down and wiped out, like it was so nowadays it's like, oh, I'm on the internet. Oh yeah, I want to hear some good entertainment, some debate. They don't care about this information. They don't even believe that. And so yeah, it's gonna be out there, but um they ain't got it. On to the next one.
Okay. And you know what? So when you say still about growing, because I've heard you say that before, and I know people are like, I thought you gonna talk about this serpent in the garden, but I do want to talk about what you're talking about. What about when you are growing and moving and flowing? Yes, there is a hidden knowledge, but is there not even a prophecy saying, like I said, that it all will be released for things to just move forward, right?
Um there's definitely things that say that information knowledge will grow and stuff like that. But again, at the end of the day, this is an internal message for the initiate. So all of that stuff you hear about that seems it applies to the collective, but it's more so the individual. So yeah, there's certain individuals that will unlock, what I'm saying, their understanding and be able to tap into it, and that's a personal revelation. Because at the end of the day, um, the outside world, the world of glitz and glamour, it's actually supposed to be like that to a sense. We're living in the world of death and ignorance, in a sort of prison. And certain the masses here are always going to be on the other side. It's just the way it is here. And there'll be people who get to creep up out of here. And those are the ones that, take the information seriously and live and try to live and walk it. So no, I don't believe that no matter if they came on and they put a big blowhorn and tried to teach the mysteries today across the earth, the average sheep would not be able to hear my father's voice anyway.
When you say my and Sakina, peace to you, Queen. I'm gonna let you come in. When you say my father's voice, are
Peace,
you
Queen. Peace,
saying
Lex. Listen, one of the things I kind of want to go into because you brought this up before when you was talking about that Ouroboros, um, and then Lex said something else. I kind of got lost, but it's about the primordial being, right? And so when you was talking about the primordial being, again, this is that snake being uh uh the oldest dinosaur, right? Or the old, because they were talking about dinosaurs or um right, the oldest serpent, oldest dinosaur, the oldest primordial being. This is how it was described in Kemet, a primordial being. So now we're saying serpents, and then they said dinosaurs. This is how it was being brought. Even on this chart, astrology chart, right? Because they still was using animals, correct? So one thing about the snake, it can shed its skin and it's full of masses, right? And so when we talking about coming out of old skin and shedding into a new, right? And again, when we was talking about that, Napah, and you going into this with this Elohim, and I remember y'all was saying, I am what my father is. And then he said, if you look at me, don't you see my father? This took me to something my dad said, and I'm gonna land with this. My dad said somebody asked him, my dad was going through dementia. Anybody know about dementia and Alzheimer's? You know what I'm going with. So they said, who is that? And my dad said, that's me.
When you showed him the Ouroboros?
No, when he looked at my brother. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's great. That was
See
nice.
what I'm saying? So when you say, if you seen my father, you seen me, right? So in this sense, when you saying Elohim, you saying father and son, like if you see a younger generation of yourself, are you not saying the same thing? So when we saying Elohim, I used to make this joke and say man, oh man, because in Spanish, El means man, O is O, and him is him. So man, oh man, was you in trouble? Now I'm not trying to disrespect the Elohim or anything to that nature, but again, the council is the council. So if you were saying Father, Son, the only thing was this Holy Spirit was, which was a breath of life, but we saying it from different religions. So again, right, when you was talking about this widget or Wajet, which was a female deity, again, we still talking about a snake. We said what will kill you will also heal you. We still talking about in a roundabout way a circle of life. So I'm agreeing with both of y'all because I see it, right? But we still got to come into understanding this from old to new. Because it was
Okay,
a
thank you. I'm
serpent, but
glad
now it's a dragon, but now it's back to a serpent. Am I right?
Right. And I
Okay.
appreciate you coming in. Stay right there where you are. I'm going to ask Lex and you. The sister brought up the Ouroboros. So I think this is important because so many people have a program of, and you you are Gnostic from what I've known from you, Lex. So I first want to lay the groundwork of what you and I and Sakina Ra agree on, and so I want to go from Gnosticism all the way to the end of the most rigid Christianity, and say, okay, we agree on this. So what don't we agree on, right? So when you talk about the Ouroboros, I don't have to break it down. I mean, I have it up on the screen for everybody else, but I know it's Kemetic, but we're talking about the serpent breaking, like we have the Nagas, the Ouroboros, like the sister said, the Wajet. The serpent wasn't all, even Asclepius, like the serpent wasn't always seen as, oh, it's evil, it's going to get you. So can you talk to us a bit about that? And then we can get the groundwork laid to where we can get to the point where you and I really, really, I do want to get to the point where I'm like, okay, Lex, the serpent told them eat the fruit, and you're like, no, they didn't. You get what I'm saying? So for me, from what I've learned from you, you can either acquiesce or easily align with me on the fact that the serpent and the count, that there was a divine council and there was not a evil serpent. And I'll let you go in and say what you need to say. Go ahead, please.
They're saying that what? The serpent was not evil?
Well, I want to first, we talk about breaking programs. You know how you said the information is out there, but we also have programs. The reason people will take the information and not use it correctly is because they're still stuck in programs. So I want people, from what the sister Sakina Ra added, which is great, the Ouroboros, right here, 13th century BCE, Kemet, on, whatever we got.
Yeah,
And then, go ahead.
Yeah, the serpent is symbolism, and it has many different meanings. But in some sense, the serpent can be looked at as evil, and in some sense, looked at as good. It depends on the commentary and the setting of the story. If you look at Moses' staff was turned into a serpent. The serpent represents God's power that people are afraid of. So when Moses throws down his staff and it turns into a serpent, it said he jumped back in fear. And this is symbolic of people actually being scared of their own inner power or not understanding it. And then on one sense, you have serpents that came and bit the Israelites in the desert. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean by there is no um people in religion want to believe the Bible was like this ongoing story that just all comes together. You see what I'm saying? I think that's where the mistakes are made. These are kind of isolated stories that have all been put together. And so that's why the Bible was so confusing, because it'll say one thing about something over here and another over there. Well, they were never meant to be in the same book like that anyway. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about symbolism, they have many layers of meaning. And the serpent has many layers of meaning. So there is and then there's always the duality. And remember, in the laws, Hermetic law, the laws of Tahuti, it'll show you every truth here is a half truth, because everything is polarized. And so where does the heat begin and the cold end on a thermostat?
Yes, I like that right there where you're going. Yes, exact. I know where you're going. You're going too deep though, right?
So we're measuring the same thing. That's what people don't realize. You're not measuring hot and cold, you're measuring temperature. But people get caught up in the hot and cold. What's behind hot and cold is the same force. That's why God in the Bible, so-called God and the devil, appeared to be the same being at times. Because
Yes.
what it's saying is this one power that can be polarized either to this way or to that way. And this is the
Like,
same thing that happens within us.
you've been listening to me. Don't. No, I know. Yeah, I'm joking around, but we're actually. That is where I said to myself recently, maybe like about a month ago. I said, "I'm gonna be real." It was just recently, a month ago. I said, when we talk about Jesus, because I see Yahweh Shai, Jesus, Yeshua, of the New Testament as the ultimate. You know how the scripture keeps saying, I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to bring in Gideon. I'm going to segue to Gideon to answer this. But I'm talking to you, Lex. I realized, because I always studied, Abraxas, even though I know it's Gnostic. But, and then you know how I said to you before, Lex, I was like, good and evil is relative. And then I said, oh my goodness, there is a middle that we are taught in the Bible exoterically, that the middle is evil. If you're not hot or cold, I spit you out. But no, there is a middle ground that is relative to, like you just said, is it hot, or what is the temperature? Is it cold? What is the temperature? And then it gets to that gray area where we're always told you can't be gray, but of course you can be gray, because gray is both. It's balance, right? And I'm going to give it back to you to answer, but I would like for you to also hand it to our brother Gideon once you answer that. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom. Uh, Thank you for letting me on, Sister Napah. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Give all praises to the Most High in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach. Peace to Lex, to the sister that just came on. If you don't mind, Napah, I'll just probably take 1 minute. And
Yeah, go
then,
ahead, of course.
yeah. So what I want to do is I want to start with reading scripture from 2 Timothy chapter 4. And I'm going to start at
Let
verse
me
1.
pull it up for everybody too. I just want to do it like that, okay? 2 Timothy chapter 4.
Chapter 4, verse 1. Yeah, I'm going to start at verse 1.
And you want the KJV?
It does it, yeah. I got the KGB.
Yeah, let me get that up for a second. Okay. All right. 2 Timothy chapter 4. Fourth full chapter. And let me screen share that. But that's wild that you brought that up. I want to talk more about what you said. Okay, so let's get that. Alrighty. And go ahead. Thank you.
I appreciate it. It says, I charge thee therefore before Yahweh and Adonai Yahshua, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned into fables. Now, the reason why I read that, Sister Napah, is because it's, in not only just the conscious community but just the world in general, people have a sickness, and wrapped up in that sickness is they're looking for somebody to lead them. And when I'm like, not you, because you don't make certain accusations against the Bible, but I find it funny, like, since we're speaking esoterically and metaphysically, we're speaking so-called seriously. So I find it funny how somebody can glean anything esoterically out of the scriptures when they say those same scriptures come from white men from Turkey. So when they do that, subconsciously they're teaching the sickness to everybody who's listening to them. Because me myself, I do believe the Bible has many esoteric teachings, like many. You can even go to the Ten Commandments and see how it's an esoteric teaching in that. Not only that, Josephus, he speaks about the creation, Yahweh creating the heavens and the earth. He speaks of that being esoteric in nature as well. So I do believe in esoteric teachings, but it's a thin line, because you get a lot of people that come in, and I'm not, and like I say, Lex, that's my guy. He's a very intelligent brother, but you have a lot of people that come in and they try to straddle the fence, and it subconsciously confuses their listeners. But that's all I like. So if you can, Lex, just explain that to me. How can you do something like that? Because the things that you were speaking of, like for instance, the serpent in ancient Kemet was the key, or to the door to knowledge. That's why it was on the head of the crown. And when we see in the creation that the serpent guarded the tree, he was in the garden. So we see those type of correlations and how it esoterically speaks to a certain concept. So how can you glean anything esoteric or anything metaphysical from the Bible when you deem it as a joke?
Well, I don't deem it as a joke. I deem it as a great deception. And the reason I gleam it as a great deception is because of some of the divine truth that's
Can
in
you
it.
say what you just said? You was out. I don't know if anybody else couldn't hear
No,
you,
we
but
heard him. I think it was you. He said great deception.
It's a great deception because of brothers like you. And what you're asking me, I fully understand why you're asking me that. So you're saying, oh, well, you're saying that the Bible's this and this and that. That's what deception means. He's called the great deceiver, meaning this is the best deceiver. It's not like when I don't know, when people don't understand what deception is. They think they must be thinking about somebody who's playing 3-card Molly or something. No, this is way deeper than that, brother. We're talking about soul level, spiritual, concepts and all this type of stuff that touches people's souls. So that's what a deception is. No one's gonna come. The devil. They say the greatest trick he ever proved was, saying he didn't exist or whatever, or whatever. The Book of Revelation said he deceived the whole world. How did he do it? Did he come out and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm the devil," or did he convince everyone he was God because he used a lot of truth to do it? This is why the teachings of Christ consciousness becomes so important. He said, "You shall know them by their fruits." See, you can tell me that you're the great God. You can tell me you're all wise, and you can tell me you're all good. But all I got to do is read the story and look at your fruit. and I know you're the devil. And the only way I will justify your devilish acts is if I'm in a hypnotized state. That's why when we ask people about the atrocities that is committed, what is the answer they give? They give the cult, mindless sheep. Well, it's God. See that God can do what He wants. But if any human did it, you would be like, this person is sick. Lock him up. If a human did that. So what happens is the truth in the Bible, and the fact that you've probably been genetically manipulated to be a slave anyway, but that's another subject. The truth in the Bible is what blinds you to the wickedness. So that's how I can say burn the Bible. Not that, man, the Bible, listen, what they did, notice the Bible pops up after they burned down the Library of Alexandria. They took a lot of knowledge that was in that Hellenistic period in Alexandria and they encoded it in the Bible to hide it from people. And then they burnt up a lot of books and stuff. I believe they encoded a lot of stuff in the Bible. But brother, what would deception be if not the Bible? How would the devil deceive you?
Right.
Besides saying I am God and you ignoring all the stuff that he did to prove that he's not God. Oh, okay,
right.
yeah, he's God, he's great, but he slaughtered 100 million people. Well, he's God. Come on, bro.
So
In philosophy, and here's the last thing I'm gonna say, brother. Once you become familiar with philosophy, and philosophy is the mother of all disciplines, by the way. In philosophy, we have evolved to recognize God, even the Greeks in Platonic thought, even in Islam, and really, supposedly, even in Christianity, as what we would call the pure good. Any philosopher that really understands theology have come to the conclusion that God has to be the perfect light. That's the only way things make sense. You see what I'm saying? And then everything had to fall from that point. Right? So when you think about God, you're making it's actually y'all that are blaspheming the real God, because you're turning him into a liar. You're turning him to a warmonger. You're turning him into, these are low-level things on the third dimension. You see what I'm saying? You think about the power you're talking about. You're talking about the infinite power, the light behind the source of the universe in all dimensions, bro.
Right.
And you want to
Again.
tell
Okay.
me that he chose, that he's racist, that he's emotional, that he's jealous, that he's competitive, that these are all the signs to let you know that that is not the true source of love, bro.
Right. So it's funny. It's funny, and I'm gonna pass it, and I guess we can go past this after this. But
But did
it's
that
funny.
answer your
It's
question, though?
no, and I'm about to say it.
Of
It's funny
course
you
it did.
mentioned 3 card Monte. It's funny you
You mean
mentioned
it
that
didn't answer it
because
for you, but
you
did it
no,
answer your
I'm gonna
question?
explain it. I'm
But hold
explaining
on,
it very succinctly
hold on,
why you
listen,
didn't
bro.
answer
This
the
is what I want
question.
to know from you.
You yielded. Hold on.
I
Just
know,
calm
but
down.
brother, we're
Calm
having a
down. Hold
convo.
on.
This is for the
Calm
sake of the
down.
people.
No,
Just
calm down.
so
Exactly. So we're not gonna let you keep piling on. You stop. So now I'm
this is
about to
why people
respond.
don't learn,
So
Napah.
now
This
you
is
trying to
why.
clean it up.
Go
So
ahead.
just be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, guys, brothers, and we're doing great. All
But
right, we
Gideon,
want
I
you.
just want you to know, you asked me a question. I asked you,
Yeah, and
did
you
that answer
stopped.
your question? Hold on. You
No, you
said
stopped.
no.
And now I'm
So
gonna respond. So now you thought about
Yeah,
it. So now you
Gideon,
want a mulligan.
he
Gideon.
doesn't understand
I'm
what I'm trying
sorry.
to
But
do. Go
real quick,
ahead.
we already know you and Lex have a years of history, so let's let Lex come in and share,
Again.
and you can come back in, and if she
Right,
can.
because
So go ahead,
Yeah,
Lex.
I do want
I'm
to
only trying
respond
to
when y'all let me.
explain.
All right, sister. Go
I'm
ahead.
only trying to explain what happened, so when we have these conversations, we can see why sometimes they get stagnant. He said I didn't answer his question. No, what do you mean that is not a good enough answer for you because of your beliefs? Because I totally answer your question. You should at least be able to say, "Oh, I see why you say that." But the fact that you say no, you got nothing out of that. That lets me know we're wasting our time, bro. But go ahead, man.
Okay. And like I said, I'm a explicitly explain why you didn't answer the question, Lex. So I asked you basically, how can you gather any type of esoterical, spiritual, metaphysical information that's coming from a pure conscious place? How can you get any information like that from the Bible when you say it's written by cave people in Turkey, unless you're giving them some type of supremacy to that type of information? So when I'm saying you didn't answer that, your response was you went back into the tenets of the Bible and how people misunderstand and misconfuse it, instead of saying how you methodologically, I know I garbled that word, but how you came to use the Bible, although it's an invention from primitive Europeans in Turkey. You didn't answer that. You didn't say, well, this is the
Oh,
process I went
your
through.
thing was the
No,
turkey
so
thing.
no, hold on. No, well, you say Turkey, you say cavemen, you say it was written by Greeks.
All right, so
Like
you're
you're
asking a
all over.
different
You
question now.
listen, no, but to a person that's building their logic off reality, you saying different things show you have a schizophrenic and irresponsible way of teaching and disseminating information.
Okay.
So you didn't answer the question.
All
How
right, so
can
let
you
me
take
answer it
that
for you
book?
now. Let me
Right.
answer it now
Thank
before
you.
you go on
Thank
with the
you.
religious
Thank
rhetoric.
you.
So
Thank you.
you didn't ask that question specifically the first
No, I
time.
asked that question.
You
We can go
asked it,
back. I asked it.
I know, but then you didn't end it with that because you said, "How can I do something with the Bible and whatever?" But your real thing is you got a problem because um, I've been telling you for years that you're a fake Israelite and that the Israelites coming out of the mountains to Turkey. So you're here trying to, you have a grievance with that, but you didn't know how to answer it directly. So yes, are you saying you're asking me how is there divine revelation in the book if it comes from mountain men from Turkey? Well, the mountain men from Turkey, those Amorites, which you mentioned Josephus. First of all, Josephus confirmed that. You just mentioned Josephus. I just showed Josephus the other day confirming that his ancestors were those Amorites that they call the Hyksos from the mountains of northern Syria. So that's number one. And you can find that in the man you just quoted, Josephus. I keep showing y'all this a million times. You'll accept the other stuff he said, but it's conveniently you acting like he didn't say that and say that clearly and wrote a whole goddamn chapter about it, about who his ancestors was. Now, just because they didn't come up originally with these concepts, these people, when they go around wandering like the little desert wandering savages as they were, and they wander and they go in other people's land looking for food and resources and to great rob and kill people, they assimilate. And they assimilate people's wisdom and doctrine. And then there was other people that interacted with them that gave them information. Just like when you read in the Bible, Jethro was schooling Moses, a Cushite. So that's showing you that their culture and the thing when they came in, that the priesthoods from other cultures were trying to civilize these savages because they had to deal with them. All right. So that answers your question. Just because, what does that got to do? I'm telling you that the people they're talking about that you call Israel, it's confirmed, bro. No matter how bad you want to be, the children of the devil, it's not you. And Josephus says it's not you.
So
So that's how.
since we speaking esoterically, one teaching that
Hold
I
up. Did
like,
that before we
right?
move on? Did I answer your question?
No, you didn't. You
You
did a
see
lot
what
of
I'm saying,
dancing.
Nepal?
You really didn't.
You
You
see what
really
I'm
didn't.
saying?
You just this
It's
is
just a
what you
waste
said.
of. This is what I was telling you
Right,
earlier
right.
about. No matter what you tell somebody, Like,
Right. No,
so hold on.
I can accept your
So let me
answer.
ask you this. You said I didn't answer. Did Josephus say that his forefathers, the Israelites, were the Amorites, the Hyksos?
Right. And this is what I
Did
say.
he
This is
say
what I'm
that?
saying.
Did he say that?
The irresponsible
Brother,
scholarship. Of
I'm just
course, no,
asking
no,
you.
he did not say that. When you
He
read
didn't say
all
that.
of it, when you read all of it,
Let me
instead
pull
of
out
just
my
watching the
laptop.
clips on YouTube,
Hold
you
on.
see that Josephus is rephrasing or quoting what others said about them,
No, he's not. He's
What
quoting it, and
Manetho said.
he's
So
quoting them.
when you read the whole thing, you will see that.
You're
Read
a
the whole
liar,
book.
bro.
Read the whole book, Lex. And
Bro,
that's why I say it's irresponsible, and it's
hold on,
people
hold on.
and
I'm gonna
it's
pull it up. Let's
teachings
pull it up.
and it's teachings and characters like yourself, my brother,
See
that
what I'm
have
saying,
people
bro?
coming off the
You're just
deep end talking
childish,
about
bro.
their Indians and that they never been in
You see what
Africa
I'm
on the
talking
slave
about,
trade.
bro? Like,
Because
bro,
they can say it
let's not
without
be
backing up
stupid, bro.
anything. And that's what you just did for the last 5 minutes.
All right,
So
so if I pull
show
up
us
Josephus,
Josephus.
if I
Show us
pull up,
Josephus. Right. Go ahead.
if I pull up Josephus right now, which you know what, I'm not even gonna do
No,
because I've
please
done this a
do.
million times,
Please do.
bro. You are not honest. You're a lost sheep.
Okay.
You're
But
not
just
an
pull it
honest
up.
person, and you're mad
Pull it up.
because
I'm I'm
you're caught up in a religion that's getting trashed and it makes no sense, and you're coming at Lex personally, and you're gonna lie about Joseph. I'm gonna tell you what. Do you have $50 right now?
I'll cash app you $50 if
All right.
Josephus says his origins and the Israelite origins are from the Hyksos and not him quoting someone else who is trying to slander the Israelite nation like you're trying to
No,
do
he's
right now, my
using that
brother.
quote to make his point about who they are.
No. So again, everybody
All
that's
right.
listening, that's why you
Hold on,
must use
brother.
your own comprehension and read everything for yourself
So
because a
let's
lot of
set. Hold up,
people,
brother.
go
We don't
ahead.
need to talk much. Listen.
Go ahead.
Napah and Sakina Ra. Are you there?
I'm here.
Sakina, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull up this Josephus. I want you to be the honest judge of whether Josephus says that his forefathers are the Hyksos or not, because me and Gideon got a $50 bet right now. Are you willing to do that
I sure am.
and really be honest about what we're about to read?
Come on.
All right, let me turn my laptop on. But we can go ahead and continue talking until I get my laptop up real quick.
Right. You're not the first person to
Hold
make
on, so
that
Gideon,
lie, bro.
do we have a bet?
Bro, show the people
No.
where
See what
Josephus
I'm talking,
says,
bro? Do we have a bet?
but I don't make bets like that, bro.
Now you
No.
just said that you would cash at me right now.
Right. Go ahead.
So do we have a deal?
I don't make bets like that. But go ahead, show the people.
What kind of bets do you make? Because this is see, this is what I'm saying. How serious? See what I'm talking about, y'all? How serious are you? You're saying that I'm a liar, I'm schizo, but I'm the one that's supposedly lying, but I'm the one willing to put up $50 and pull up the information.
Say,
Stand
bro,
up for your God, bro.
right. This not for me, bro. This for the people.
I
I'm
know,
showing
but
the
you
people
said
right now I'm telling the people right now that you're lying and you won't show it to them.
So let me get this straight. What is he lying about?
He's saying that Josephus states that the origin of the Israelites are from the Hyksos. I'm
yes.
telling Lex, he's reading it, and no offense, Lex, at an elementary level, bro. If you're making that statement,
So you
either
saying
that or you're just
Josephus
lying flat
is
out.
so what are you saying? Josephus is what? Jesus' brother?
No, Josephus is a historian. He's the only Jewish historian that wrote a history on the Israelites and and who actually tries to prove that they're an ancient people. And so he writes a dialogue called Against Apion. Because it was a person who was saying, oh, these Jews, they're just a new people, man, and all this stuff is bull crap. You know what I'm saying? So he writes a treatise explaining the antiquities and how, supposedly saying how the Jews go back in antiquity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so in that treatise, he says that they are the Hyksos that came into Egypt. So that's what I'm about to pull up.
And can't Aristotle? I read somewhere Aristotle can verify a lot of things when it comes to Josephus. Is this correct?
I don't really know about
Aristotle
that.
was before Josephus.
Was it Aristotle or who was the guy? I always get this mixed up. I say this name wrong. So it was the same guy that was with Notre Dame. These two people were around the same time because I was amazed to find out Notre Dame was around during this time. So
Notre Dame is Middle Ages, huh?
okay, so it was. I thought it was Aristotle because Notre Dame was around at the same time. So it's not Aristotle.
I don't know who you're saying. What was
Was the prophetess at the
I
same
think you're
time?
talking. I think you're talking about Philo.
Okay, well, because I remember clearly saying, whatever book I gotta find it, but it said Notre Dame didn't believe in the works of Jesus, and Aristotle or whoever this guy name is, he could vouch for Josephus and some things regarding the Osman box.
Yeah, nah. I mean, you would have to get that a little more clearer because, like I said,
Okay.
Nostradamus.
Okay,
You
I
know,
have to get that
yeah,
straight. So, um,
right, right.
okay, well, I was just trying to see what y'all was going back and forth about because I thought.
I'm about to show you right now, sis.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, y'all.
Hey, Napah, let my other account in.
I think she backed up for a second because I haven't heard her say anything.
Okay, well, when she get back.
Right. Because one thing I do want to add to this bill, what y'all saying is, I don't think a lot of people taking into accountability that during this time, the church paid a lot of atonement for the people. So when it came to sins and the atonement for the people, that went to the priest. And so y'all got to remember that Jesus was the last sacrifice. And so when it came to that atonement, the priest was before the tabernacle because they were actually going into those merkoots. And then that tabernacle came around with those open doors in that tent. And when that last sacrifice came through and Jesus died for your sins, and now everybody living off mercy and grace. So now you being accountable yourself. So the priests don't take atonement for you. You taking the cheese, the cracker and the juice, and you doing your own atonement. And so this is the difference now. But before that, the priest was taking atonement for everybody. And if he went in that tomb or the merkut and didn't come out alive, that means somebody wasn't forgiven and he paid for the price. So
Hey,
this is the
can you
difference
call
Napah
or something?
Oh yeah, I'll call her. Hold on.
Yeah, so we can get this on. Gideon don't want to pay.
Hey, but the last bet I made online, I said it was gonna be my last one, was with Garfield, $1,000. That
I don't
nobody
know
in
nothing about
Africa
Garfield.
was calling themselves Hebrews. So I see if a person to lie about one thing, they'll lie about everything. So
Okay, so then that you should get some
unless you
easy
putting it
money.
on the wood and we writing like nah, but we not playing no type of games like that.
All right, let's
And
send
you shouldn't be
hold up.
charging the people for information
No, it's
anyway.
not. I'm
That's
not
what make
charging
y'all
people.
charlatan. And I'm not saying you, bro, but
No,
if you
hold
keep
on,
that
brother.
up,
You
you
get
going
charged.
down that path, bro. And I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Okay, real quick. I appreciate it. But Sakina's been sitting here probably patiently. Let's let her weigh in. Go ahead,
No,
Sakina.
she just waited. Could you let my other account
No, I'm
in?
fine. They want to pull up something on the screen.
Okay, there we go.
And let me stop sharing this what I'm sharing. Okay.
Now let me
So,
share my screen.
did you have some Sakina? You were contacting me. Is that what you were telling me? Take that down off the screen.
She's trying to tell you to come in to let me in.
Oh, okay. All
Because I
right.
was
So
trying to get on with my laptop and share something. So what we were talking about in the past, Gideon said Josephus never said the Israelites were the Hyksos. And so I challenged him and challenged him to a $50 bet. After he said he would cash out me $50, he's now saying that he doesn't bet because he knows. And this is what I'm talking about when we talk about, you know, people being honest and stuff. So anyway, this is the Josephus, y'all. And let me scroll up so you can see the name of this. This is Antiquity of the Jews by Flavius Josephus against Apion. And I'll read the first line, and then I'm going to jump down to where it's important. I suppose that by my books of the Antiquity of the Jews, most excellent Epaphroditus. And this is, by the way, this is how I know Josephus is Paul, for those who don't know, y'all. And I'm going to bring that out when I debate Yara. I'll give it, but just the same way he said most excellent Theophilus and what's the name, you can see the same language, but that's a whole nother thing. I've made it evident to those who pursue them that our Jewish nation is a very great antiquity. This is the point he's writing this, and had a distinct subsistence of its own originality, as also I have therein declared how we came to inhabit this country wherein we now live. Those antiquities contain the history of the 5,000 years and are taken out of our sacred books, but are translated by me into the Greek tongue. All right, so that's what he's writing this about. So what he does is he starts to use all these other people's records and stuff to say, yo, we was here. And this is what the Egyptian says. This is what the Greek says. This is what the Chaldean said about it. So he starts going through this whole dialogue trying to show the antiquity of the Jews, meaning say that they was an ancient people. That's why you read here, it says, however, they acknowledge themselves so far that they were the Egyptians, the Chaldeans, and the Phoenicians that have preserved the memorials of the most ancient and most lasting traditions of mankind. So now I'm gonna go down to the part where he starts to talk about the Hyksos. And uh go right here. Here it is. I shall begin with the writings of the Egyptians. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
I
yeah.
shall begin with the writings of the Egyptians, not indeed of those that have written in the Egyptian language, which is impossible for me to do. But Manetho was a man who was by birth an Egyptian, yet had made himself master of Greek learning, as is very evident. For he wrote the history of his own country in the Greek tongue, by translating it, as he saith himself, out of their sacred records. He also finds great fault with Herodotus for his ignorance and false relations of Egyptian affairs. Now, this Manetho, in the second book of his Egyptian history, writes concerning us in the following manner. I will set down his very own words as if I were to bring the very man himself into the court for a witness. So he's bringing Manetho in court for a witness for him, Gideon. I want you to understand this because you said read the whole thing. He's calling forth the writings of Manetho. If we was in court, he'd be saying, Your Honor, my next witness I call to the stand is the Egyptian priest Manetho. And notice they always need an Egyptian to verify them. But here we go. If I were to bring the very man into court for a witness, there was a king of ours whose name was Timaeus.
Where you at? I'm sorry. Where you at?
What?
Where you at in the
Out of
text?
the script.
What do you mean? Can you see it? Do I need to blow it up some more?
Yeah, maybe blow it up.
You say where they got numbers at? Just go say the number. That's all I'm asking you.
Oh, I'm at 14. It's go down to verse 14.
Okay, family, hit the like button. If you come in and I don't recognize you, please turn on your camera.
Okay.
And Sakina, let me know when you want to come in, and I'm gonna mute out. So
All
go ahead.
right. All right, I'm here. Thank you.
So there was a king of Alvarez whose name was Timaeus. Under him it came to pass, I know not how, that God was averse to us. And there came after a surprising manner men of ignoble birth out of the eastern parts. This is what he's quoting from Manetho, right? As a witness in court. He's saying, I don't know what happened to us Egyptians, but there came these people of a surprising manner. There's some weirdos. That's what ignoble birth out of the eastern parts, which is probably referring to the eastern desert, and had boldness enough to make an expedition into our country, and with ease subdued it by force, yet without hazarding a battle with them. So when they had gotten those that govern us under their power, they afterward burned down our cities and demolished the temples of our gods. I thought it was the other way around. And used all the inhabitants after a most barbarous manner. Nay, some they slew and led their children and their wives into slavery. At length they made one of themselves king, whose name was Solitus, who also lived at Memphis, and made both the upper and lower regions pay tribute, and left garrisons in places that were the most proper for them. He chiefly aimed to secure the eastern parts, as foreseeing that the Assyrians, who had then the greatest power, would be desirous of that kingdom and invade them. And as he found out in Sate Nomos, a city very proper for this purpose, and which lay upon the Bubastic channel, but with regard to a certain theologic notion, was called avarice. Everyone that studies history knows avarice in the Bible is where the Israelites came to dwell. It's called Goshen in the Bible. That is avarice. Listen closely. But with regard to a certain theologic notion was called avarice. This he rebuilt and made very strong by the walls he built about it, and by a most numerous garrison of 240,000 armed men, which he put into it to keep it. Thither Salatus came in summertime, partly to gather his corn and pay his soldiers their wages, and partly to exercise his armed men, and thereby to terrify foreigners. When this man had reigned 19 years, after him reigned another whose name was Beon for 40 years. After him reigned another called Aposhnes 36 years and 7 months. After him Apophis reigned 61 years. Then Janius 50 years and 1 month. After all these reigned Assis 49 years and 2 months. And these 6 were the first rulers among them, who were all along making war with the Egyptians, and were very desirous gradually to destroy them to the very roots. This whole nation was styled Hyksos, that is, shepherd kings. For the first syllable hic, according to the sacred dialect, denotes a king, as is sos, a shepherd. But this according to the ordinary dialect. And of these is compounded Hyksos. But some say that these people were Arabians. Now, in another copy, it is said that this word does not denote kings, but on the contrary denotes captive shepherds, and this on account of the particle hic. For that hic with the aspiration in the Egyptian tongue again denotes shepherds, and that expressly also. And this to me seems the more probable opinion and more agreeable to ancient history. But Manetho goes on. These people, whom we have before named kings and called shepherds also, and their descendants, as he says, kept possession of Egypt 511 years. After this, he says that the kings of Thebes, or that's Thebes, now we're talking about Amos and Carmos. All right, these are the kings of Thebes. These are the ones who ran the Hyksos out of Egypt, for those who don't know. They called the Theban kings because they come from Thebes. All right, that the kings of Thebes and other parts of Egypt made an insurrection against the shepherds, and that there a terrible and long war was made between them. He says further that under a king whose name was, I don't even, something, I think that he's referring to Thutmoses, but he puts it in the Greek. Lisprog or Moses or whatever, the shepherds were subdued by him and were indeed driven out of other parts of Egypt, but were shut up in a place that contained 10,000 acres. This place was named Avarice. That's Goshen once again in the Bible, y'all. Manetho says that the shepherds built the wall round all this place, which was a large and strong wall, and this in order to keep all their possessions and their prey within a place of strength. But that the Moses, the son of whatever, made an attempt to take them by force and by siege, with 480,000 men to lie round about them. But that upon his despair of taking the place by that siege, they came to a composition with them that they should leave Egypt and go without any harm being done to them, whithersoever they would, and that after this composition was made, they went away with their whole families and effects, not fewer in number than 240,000, and took their journey from Egypt through the wilderness for Syria. But that as they were in fear of the Assyrians, who had then the dominion over Asia, that they built a city in that country, which is now called Judea, and that large enough to contain this great number of men, and called it Jerusalem. Now, Manetho in another book of his says that this nation thus called shepherds were also called captives in their sacred books. And this account of his is the truth. And this account of his is the truth. That's what Manetho says. Now, what is he saying is true? That this nation, thus called shepherds, were also called captives in their sacred books. And this account of his is the truth. For feeding of the sheep was the employment of our forefathers in the most ancient ages. And as they led such a wandering life in feeding sheep, they were called shepherds. Nor was it without reason that they were called captives by the Egyptians, since one of our ancestors, Joseph, told the king of Egypt that he was a captive, and afterwards sent for his brethren into Egypt by the king's permission. But as for these matters, I shall make a more exact inquiry about them elsewhere. Now, I want y'all to understand the stage that he's setting. He's calling Manetho to the courtroom as a witness. Okay? Now, he says, but now, and I'm almost getting there, just be patient. I know that on this new age of youngsters with Instagram and all that, we don't like to read and go through information. It can get boring. But this is why we stay stagnant on these subjects, because we can clear up what Gideon said right now. And if he ever again says he didn't get this, now you know what happens to the religious mind. They will lie, but they don't even think they're lying because they become delusional. Now listen. But now I shall produce the Egyptians as witnesses to the antiquity of our nation. I shall therefore here bring in Manetho again in what he writes as to the order of the times in this case. And thus he speaks. When this people or shepherds were gone out of Egypt to Jerusalem, Thutmoses, the king of Egypt, who drove them out. All right, y'all, that's the Exodus. This is real history. They got driven out. That drove them out, reigned afterward 25 years and 4 months, and then died. After him, his son Shibron took the kingdom for 13 years, Amenephis 20 years, 7 months. Then came Ameses for 21 years and 9 months after. So he goes through this. I'm not going to read all this. I'm going to get to it. All right. Because I want you to see what his conclusion was. So this is what he says after he goes through all of this. Now he says, for Manetho says that Sethos was himself called Egyptus, as was his brother Amos called Danius. Okay, this is Manetho's account. This is him talking. And evident it is from the number of years by him set down belonging to his interval, if they be summed up together, that these shepherds, as they are here called, who were no other than our forefathers, were delivered out of Egypt and came thence and inhabited this country 393 years before Danius came to Argos. Although the Argives look upon him as their most ancient king,
Manetho therefore bears this testimony to 2 points of the greatest consequence to our purpose, and those from the Egyptian records themselves. In the first place, that we came out of another country into Egypt, and that withal our deliverance out of it was so ancient in time as to have preceded the siege of Troy almost 1,000 years. But then, as to those things which Manetho adds, not from the Egyptian records, but as he confesses himself from some stories of uncertain original, I will disprove them hereafter particularly, and shall demonstrate that they are no better than incredible fables. Now, what he's saying here is I agree with him about
My
the Hyksos.
goodness, bro. Do I need to say any more, bro? You just spent
No,
the
no.
last
Guess what? Gideon, let him park his car. I think he has like 30 more seconds, and you
Yeah,
can get it.
Gideon's silly. He
No, no,
thinks
no,
that.
no, no. And Lex, don't
Okay,
Lex.
yeah.
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna keep going
Go
on.
ahead, finish up, and then Gideon, you come in. You can have the same amount of time.
All right.
Go ahead, Lex. Finish up real so he can
All
come in.
right.
You got this, both of you, because
Goodness.
they need to hear this.
So what he's saying is, in the first place, that we came out of a country in Egypt, and that with our deliverance was so ancient in time as to have preceded the siege of Troy almost 1,000
I
years.
got you, Gideon. Go ahead, Lex.
But then, as to those things which Manetho adds, not from the Egyptian records, but as he confesses himself from some stories of an uncertain original, I will disprove them hereafter particularly, and shall demonstrate that they are no better than incredible fables. I will now therefore pass from these records and come to those that belong to the Phoenicians. All right, so I got to go further down because he's going to go into the Phoenician stuff though. Then he's going to come back to 1 second. Does he go back to Manetho? Hold on 1 second.
And while he looks for it, everybody, please hit the like. And this is what I want to say right here. I agree with Lex. We need to really look at the text. And Gideon, you will have all the time you need. I know it's usually like a rush. And Sakina, you can always break in whenever you need.
No, I seen R.I.S.E in my Egyptian encyclopedia, so I'm following along with some of the names, and he's absolutely correct.
Yeah, both of these
Yeah.
brothers are very good at teaching this. Now I know everybody tuned in and said like Jesus is a serpent, Jesus, but this is like going down the rabbit hole, and a lot of people want to do that. So
Yes.
Gideon, you've got all the time you need. All right,
Yeah.
brother. You just hold on. I appreciate you. Lex, go ahead and finish up, please.
Yeah, 1 second, because it's a lot in here. But you can see from already he's acknowledging the Hyksos as his forefathers and saying that he agrees with Manetho. That's really the main point I wanted to show, but I wanted to see if, because he made a conclusion somewhere, but I don't know if I can find it. Okay, hold on. Now the Egyptians were the first to cast a project in order to please which nation some others undertook the purpose of the truth, while they would neither own that are for. Okay, here it is. Hold on. Now the Egyptians were the first to cast reproaches upon us in order to please which nation some others undertook to pervert the truth, while they would neither own that our forefathers came into Egypt from another country, as the fact was, nor give a true account of our departure thence. And indeed, the Egyptians took many occasions to hate us and envy us. In the first place, because our ancestors had the dominion over their country. Now, when he talks about the dominion over their country, he's referring back to what Manetho said about the Hyksos. And when they were delivered from them and gone to their own country again, they lived there in prosperity. In the next place, the difference of our religion from theirs have occasioned great enmity between us, while our way of divine worship did as much exceeded that which their laws appointed. All right. So hold on 1 second. All right, here we go. Now, here's what I'm talking about. And now I will turn my discourse to one of their principal writers, whom I have little before made use of as a witness to our antiquities. Does everybody understand what that means? A witness. He used him as a witness. I mean, Manetho.
Where you at?
Verse 26. I mean, Manetho, he promised to interpret the Egyptian history out of their sacred writings and premised this, that our people had come into Egypt, many 10,000 in number, and subdued its inhabitants. And when he had further confessed, man, he's using court language, right? Because he's a witness. And when he had further confessed that we went out of that country afterward and settled in that country, which is now called Judea, and there built Jerusalem and his temple. Now listen, now thus far he followed his ancient records. So remember when he said, I'm going to show you what became fables? In other words, he's trying to acknowledge that he was the Hyksos, but he's saying that the way they tell the story, the stuff he said, Manetho added this. This wasn't in the records, but this part, him saying that we came in there and took over and then left in Jerusalem and built, he said, I agree with that. Listen, now thus far, he followed his ancient records, but after this, he permits himself, in order to appear to have written what rumors and reports passed abroad about the Jews, and introduces incredible narrations as if he would have the Egyptian multitude that had the leprosy. Because remember, Manetho, I didn't go read all that other stuff, but the Egyptians called them leopards, said they had leprosy, that they was a dirty people, which was the truth. This is what Manetho is going up against, not the part about them being Hyksos. So listen, the Egyptian multitude that had the leprosy and other distempers to have been mixed with us, and he says they were, and that they were condemned to fly out of Egypt together. You read that same stories about leopards being thrown out of Egypt. Okay, he's trying to say, no, we wasn't the leopards and all of that. For he mentions a manifest of fictitious. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there. And then let me see. What was I don't want to read too much. But I think anybody who's honest and can read can see Manetho clearly says our forefathers are the Hyksos.
Okay, I appreciate you, Lex, handing it over. And mostly, I appreciate everybody being here, everyone who's engaged. Uh, just the thing about these streams, yes, we're talking about the serpent, but we're going even deeper. It always will organically go into something else. Just sit back, learn, get your notepads, go down the rabbit hole. Please hit the like button so we can get these teachings in the algorithm more. Lex, thank you for doing that, and Sakina for being patient. Gideon mostly for just sitting very quietly and patiently. And now we're gonna listen. We're gonna let the brother respond. You get all the time you need. Yeah, you get all the time you need. I'm not gonna give y'all timers. So go ahead, Gideon, respond to everything that the brother has brought forth.
Yeah, appreciate that, Napah. I just want to say that, like I said, this is the type of irresponsible scholarship that gives breed to people just making all type of dubious claims
Oh,
and
real
don't
quick, real
have
quick.
no
I don't mean
type
to
of.
cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off. It's the toughest environment. I know you and Lex come from like the mud, but also let's try to keep it to where you know what
No,
I'm saying.
we don't come from the mud. I don't know.
Well, you don't like the mud, but I mean the basic, very beginning. Okay, you want me to say the garden? You
Oh,
come
you
from.
saying it? Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
No,
not
I
I'm
got you.
saying the mud like the beginning, like the
Okay.
primordial goo.
Come
Okay, so
on. That's a
my
better
point
word.
is that when I say the mud, the primordial. What I'm saying is just try not to where you each other, y'all make each other
In
get
other
off.
words, try to address what the hell I just read and what he just talked about.
Lex, let me do this real quick because I know I can rub you the wrong way also. So let's keep it to where it has been, and I'm not trying to babysit or tell men or women how to talk, but you can say what you want to say, Gideon. But I don't want him jumping in like, "Why are you saying this about me?" So I'm gonna mute out. Sorry to
No,
interrupt
I'm
you.
cool with whatever he say,
Okay, cool,
long as
perfect.
he addresses our conversation. He said Manetho did not say that. Now
All
I
right, let
just
me.
read that. Now if y'all sit here and listen to this man say it didn't say that, you know something's wrong.
Okay, Lex, let's let the brother go. So you get what I'm saying, right? I don't want it to where he gets off track before you jump in. So I'm going to mute out now. Gideon, I promise you have the floor. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna be real curt with this because I don't. Lex is lying. He know he is lying, or he has the comprehension of a goldfish. And I take the former because I don't think he's dumb. What we just read was Josephus, and if you read the whole thing, that's why I say it's real important that people read the whole book instead of watching clips or just reading a paragraph. Josephus went through several nations, speaking of the Israelites. And in those testaments, those are the words of those people verbatim. And in certain places where we see Josephus says this is a truth, he is speaking about that specific point. It's real sad when I heard this brother try to pass that off, and then he just lied and said I did not say that was Manetho, when that was the very first thing I told this guy when he said Josephus said we come from the Hiscos. I said he was quoting Manetho, so that's another lie. So it's to the point to where it's like I can't even respect the scholarship that's being brought by when I see people blatantly lying, and he's really insulting y'all intelligence, because it's not too much I can say. But let me just read a couple of excerpts. Let me read a couple of excerpts to show you that Josephus is just quoting other nations. I mean, Lex did it himself. He continuously stabbed himself in reading what he was reading. So let's go here. It says, now we all see, as Lex started out when we first read it, it says that I suppose that by my books of antiquity of the Jews, I have made it evident to those who pursue them that our Jewish nation is of very great antiquity and had a distinct subsistence of its own originally. As also I have therein declared how we came to inhabit this country wherein we now live. The antiquities contain the history of 5,000 years and are taken out of our sacred books and are taken out, but are translated by me into the Greek tongue. That was his first deception. He tried to do some type of trickery and make it seem like it was what it wasn't, what he just said. Josephus clearly stated that those are our sacred books that he translated into the Greek tongue. But I'll proceed. However, since I observe a considerable number of people giving ear to the reproaches that are laid against us by those who bear ill will to us, and will not believe what I have written concerning the antiquity of our nation, while they take it for a plain sign that our nation is such a late date. So what he's saying is he's going to get people's testimony that states how old they are, whether or not they like them or not. He's just using them to speak on their antiquity. That's why he's bringing these people as witnesses, character witnesses, so to speak. That's why, if you notice, when Lex was reading, every time that he was quoting Manetho, and Manetho says something about the Hiscos, we can clearly see Josephus says, and then he says them. Josephus never said. That's how you read things in context, and you get the true meaning of what you're reading. So when we see that Josephus continually says them, referring to the Hiscos, and not saying us as referring to them, the Israelites being the Hiscos, we see a clear separation. Like I said, the brother continuously killed himself. Now, when we go down in the same thing he was just reading, giving misinformation, being a propagandist, let me just show y'all a couple of more other things, and I'm gonna leave it alone.
Share your screen, Gideon.
Well, I'm on the phone right now, so I really,
I mean, I can pull it up for you.
I mean, I have it still pulled up.
Okay.
If you want to read.
Yeah, well, let's go to verse let's see.
And now, Lex, before
Go.
you respond, I want to ask him a question before you respond, Lex.
Okay.
All right.
Lex has a minute before he responds. He's taking a long break.
Yeah, he read. Yeah, it was all right. Let's
But I
go
appreciate him
to
bringing up the information. But what's your
yeah.
question? So the brother Gideon,
I
we
want
only
him to go ahead and let him read and get his point out, and then I want to.
Won't y'all just be honest with the brother and tell him that he's not making sense?
No, we need
Right.
to see both sides.
But I
of the
want y'all.
information.
But I
Yeah, I want him to. I want him.
all
Hold
right,
on,
but
Lex, for a minute, because I need to be fair, but I can't be fair if he don't make his point.
Well, he's
Okay,
making his point.
Okay.
so again, what we're looking at, sister, is we're looking at Josephus bringing other nations records attesting to the antiquity of the Israelites and their validity as being a nation. So I'm gonna read right before where he started, like a sentence before 14. He says, I would demonstrate that some of the Greek writers have made mention of us Jews also, that those who envy us may not have even this pretense for contradicting what I have said about our nation.
Can he
So,
get you a line? Can he align with you, my friend? I know I'm
yeah,
yeah,
interrupting a
just
lot.
tell me where you want to
yeah.
read, bro. Where you want me to
Just
read?
go to 14. I'm gonna start where you started at.
Okay, I shall begin with the writings of the Egyptians.
Right.
Not indeed.
So hold on. So clearly we can see he's going into where he's quoting someone else, and we
Yes.
can see the frame of the whole paragraph of this whole section is based on that. So he says, I shall begin with the writings of the Egyptians. So
Now, what is he?
whose writings is he's going
Manetho.
with?
Manetho.
The writings of the Israelites, the writings of Josephus? No, he's going with the writings of the Egyptians. It's very simple.
Right. I
Not
never
indeed
said.
of those. Hold on. Yes, you did. Not indeed
Okay.
of those that have. Okay, so when you was garbling and giving your eisegesis to this text, I didn't say anything. So let me just continue. It's going to be real short. It doesn't take long to kill your argument, Lex,
Let him
because
stay
it's
on
very
track,
simple.
Go
Lex,
ahead,
and then
brother.
you can come in.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's go. I shall begin with the writings of the Egyptians, not indeed of those that have written in Egyptian language, which it is impossible for me to do, but Manetho, who was a man by birth an Egyptian, yet he made himself master of Greek learning, as is very evident. So what we see right here is the first intrusion, at least in this conversation, of Greek, quote unquote, European thought, which is Lex is purporting right now. And I'm going to continuously say this. Those who go against the Most High have a white supremacist ideology. So he's running to Manetho, who was damn near Greek, running all in the Ptolemy's face and whatnot.
Manethos was not
So
Greek.
Hold on.
go.
Josephus is running to him, not me.
So let's go. I know it hurts, Lex. Let me continue. I know it
Dude is
hurts.
ridiculous.
I know it hurts.
All
I know
right,
it
brother.
hurts.
Let him finish.
But okay, I read that. So let's go down. By translating it, as he says himself, out of their sacred records, he also finds great fault with Herodotus for his ignorance and false relations of Egyptian affairs. Now, this Manetho, in his second book of his Egyptian history, writes, now everything after this is from the Egyptians' history according to Manetho, and all of that is what Lex read. Now we can continue. If we go down, we can see this. Let's go to I'm gonna go to the point where I'm gonna point out where you have to be able to discern and be able to comprehend not even complex sentences, but just compound thought within a sentence. So let's go here. And that's the trick that a lot of people use on
Can I just
people
ask
that,
you why he's
you
calling
know,
him into court as a
Napah, I
witness?
don't know why this dude keep interrupting me.
Okay.
Like I
Pause.
said, I let him run
You
his
pause
lips.
for a little, brother.
I
Go
let you
ahead.
run your mouth and
Go ahead,
destroy
bro.
the
I got
text
you. Sorry. Go
and
ahead.
Both of
insult
you
people's
brothers, both of
intelligence
you
for the
brothers,
last
listen,
10
listen, let
minutes.
me say this before we get too far. Both of you brothers are good at this. Lex, I know you can do this.
Nah,
Let
we
him
good.
go.
I
You are.
apologize. I
Okay.
thought he paused. He's just
I
acting
know, I
like a
know. It was
child.
a
Go ahead.
moment where you came in communal, but now we're gonna let him exclusively go, and then Lex come in and rebut. But I do want everybody to know while we do this, if you could get in, I know we've been cutting into your time, and you still have a time. But can you let the audience know what is your position and what is Lex's position? Those who've come in midstream and continue. But let's go ahead and let him just have his time, and then Lex, you can come right back in. Go
Right.
ahead. Keaton.
What
What is your position? What is your opposition to what he's claiming?
right. Well, what Lex is saying is that Josephus' position is that we come from the Hyksos people, and he goes to against Appian to prove that point. My position is that Josephus does not say we're from the Hyksos. He is merely relating something from the Egyptian records according to Manetho. And I'm also telling the people that what Lex is doing is very disingenuous and dangerous, irresponsible, and being a bad scholar and insulting y'all intelligence by trying to pull this over on y'all as if he is saying it. So he spent the last 10, 15 minutes reading a story where it constantly gave context clues to what it was saying. He was literally killing himself live on air and didn't he realized it, but he is so pompous and so vain and so, I guess, confident in his lie, he tried to pull it off. But I'm gonna read these last sections right here to show you where he know he's not being truthful. And I'm just trying to point it out to the people that's listening for y'all to go back and read it and y'all come up with your own conclusion.
Yes, Brother Gideon, thank you. And you know what? I'm not cutting you off because I know I gave Lex unlimited time, but just be conscious of the time that you have. I know we've been cutting in, but and then I want you to you're responsible enough because you've been back and forth with Brother Lex, you're a friend of his, I would say that. So hand it over to him when you're finished so he can respond to your claim. And I'm going to mute out. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. All right, thank you. And I just need a couple of more seconds. I'm not going to be that long at all. So I'm going to go to, and it's still in the same part, still in the same story, still in the same account that Manetho gave about the Israelites. So I'm going down to the part where he gives credence to a part of the story, and I'm going to show the people how it's constructed to where you can see he's not talking about the whole story. And a person who tells you that is really, like I said, insulting your intelligence altogether. And that's going to be in the section. Let's see.
This is sad, man.
It's 20. Right. Go to. One second. Go to it's a long part. 14 is more or less in the middle. I'm just gonna start. It says, damn, me scrolling up, I lost it. All right. I'm gonna start right here. It says, now again, we can hear how Josephus is writing this, that he is disassociating himself not only from Manetho's story of them being Hyksos, but he disassociates the Israelite nation coming from them, period. He says, this whole nation was styled Hyksos, that is, shepherd kings. According to their according to the sacred dialect, it denotes a king, as is sos a shepherd, but this according to the ordinary dialect, and of these is compounded Hyksos. But some say that these people were Arabians. Now, in another copy, it is said that this word does not denote kings, but on the contrary, denotes captive shepherds, and this on account of the particle Hicks tongue again, denotes shepherds, and that expressly also, this to me seems the more probable. So even in real time, we can see Josephus questioning and giving his opinion on these testimonies. And I'm gonna continue. It says, these people whom we have before named kings and called shepherds also, and their descendants, as he says, kept possession of Egypt 511 years. After these, he says that the kings of Thebes and other parts of Egypt made insurrection against the shepherds, and that there a terrible and long war was made between them. So again, as I keep saying, if Josephus is claiming to come from the Hyksos, why is he using a term that does not connect him with them? He's using terms like them and those people. So again, my people, simple reading, and I'm gonna end right there because I could just go on and on just to show the flaws in this brother's
Really?
simple reading. It's laughable, Lex.
That's it, bro.
Lex, hold on. Let me get this clear. So what we have is your position before we head it over, and you don't need to go elaborate, go deep into it. You are claiming what? Just in one sentence, Gideon, because I'm gonna hand it over to Lex and he's gonna say no. What are you claiming?
Josephus claims to come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not the Hyksos.
Thank you. Now, Lex, and I know Sakina's right here. Sakina, you already have carte blanche. You can come in any time. But Lex, you can respond. Obviously, thank you for bringing that up for him.
See, this
But,
is where
go ahead.
we need the community
Thank you, Gideon.
to step up and be real, or we'll never get. Y'all just know he just wasted like 10 minutes of our time. I thought he was about to show me something. First of all, he keeps saying I'm making claims. No, I'm just reading Josephus is making the claims. And the stuff he just said made no sense. He says they keep talking. He keeps saying separating himself because they say like their descendants. Because he's quoting Manetho. Like, for instance, he says, and this to me seems more
No, he's
probable
not.
opinion
He's
and
not
more
quoting Manetho
hold
when
up,
he says
listen,
that.
bro. Let's see this. Look, and more agreeable to the ancient history. But Manetho goes on, in quotes, these people whom we have before named kings and called shepherds also, and their descendants, as he says. He can't even read. This is just this has nothing to do with him separating himself from what Manetho's talking about. This is just literature, the way you write. He's talking about Manetho and he says, and their descendants, as he says, kept possession of Egypt 511. He's not making a separation. He's quoting Manetho. Matter of fact, it's the passages literally in quotations, Gideon. You see the quotation, right? Let me blow it up for you. This is the stuff I'm talking about, bro. This is why we got to be able to move on past at least the foolishness. I just blew it up, so I lost it. Hold on. It's in quotations. Where'd it go? Hold on. Damn, I just lost it. Oh, here it is. The people whom we have before named kings, but Manetho goes on, the people whom we have before named kings and called shepherds also, and their descendants, as he says, kept possession of Egypt 511 years. After these, he says that the king, he says, he's quoting Manetho, bro, that the kings of Thebes and the other parts of Egypt made an insurrection against the shepherds, and that there a terrible and long war was made between them. And he says further, quote. So that's why he's saying there and they and that. You see the quotes, bro? He says further, quote, that under a king whose name was whatever, the shepherds were subdued by him and were indeed driven out of other parts of Egypt, but was shut up in a place that contained 10,000 acres. This place was named Avarice. Manetho says again that the shepherds built the wall around all this place, which was a large and strong wall, and this in order to keep all their possessions and their prey within a place of strength. So that's what he's doing, bro. And he goes on to say that these were our forefathers. Now, Manetho in another book says that this nation, thus called shepherds.
Where does he say they're our forefathers?
Oh, right here. Right here. Thank you. Now, Manetho in another book of his says, quote, that this nation, thus called shepherds, were also called captives in their sacred books. And this account of his is truth. For feeding of sheep was the employment of our forefathers in the most ancient.
Simple reading time.
No, stop.
What
stop,
part
bro.
is true, Lex?
Stop, bro.
Which part is true?
Bro. You had your time.
Go ahead.
You failed.
Because this is another part where you're about to get a simple reading concept all the way misconstrued and discombobulate everybody with what you about to say. But go ahead. Go ahead, and I'm gonna go right after you on that same thing.
I have one last question.
Everybody has a
go back to that. Let's do a study on that real quick.
Gideon, Lex, y'all have a lot of time because obviously I let the show go down this road because
right. Let's move
on. But let me say this to everybody real quick. It's gonna take me less than a minute. This scholarship that you're getting from both sides, even though they're like giving these little jabs on each other, this is information that is high quality. Whether you agree or not, you're getting great information. So even though it might be over your head right now to my sister Sherilyn and other people, take your notes, keep this. I appreciate it. And so I know they're going to bump heads, but y'all don't. That's what I'm just trying to say, Lex.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one person showing scholarship. I mean,
no, Lex Vortex, you do that.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this.
No. Go back to where you just went, and we about to deconstruct that sentence on a real simple hooked-on phonics type of level.
We're gonna let Sakina ride.
Right, that's what I thought, Lex. You ain't about to do that. You've been bodying yourself all night, bro.
Chime in and be honest,
brothers,
witnesses here.
My friends, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, we good, Napah.
I know you can do this, but people will see it and be like, "Oh God." And
we are good, y'all. I know Gideon for years, y'all.
That's what gets lit, though. To be honest, let them do that. But Sakina, say what you need to say. But then Lex and Gideon, what does Sakina want to say? Something?
Okay, so again, my question is to Gideon because I'm trying to get your stance as well, and just to be fair, because you said that Lex was a liar. Right, and then you read the same passages. Maybe you read some different ones, and the only thing I saw different was
for Phoenix. Sorry,
you read it differently, right? And the only difference that I saw was that the comprehension and the understanding. That's the only difference I saw because. That's not the first time that I've heard them or the Hebrews being referred to as haikus or haikoses. Right, Hyksos. Right, I can't even say it right. So, but again, I've also heard in other books who said we were pronouncing these names right. So
no, you're okay. No, I don't even pronounce it right.
No, I'm not even talking to you, Napah. I'm just saying period. Right. So again, when it comes to this, so you saying that he didn't say that, and then he's saying that that the man said that Manetho's nobody could speak Manetho's original language. So, but Manetho's could speak the futuristic language, which was Greek. Manetho's was from an earlier period. So moving forward, he could speak the futuristic Egyptian language, which was moving toward the not Egyptian, but maybe Phoenician.
No,
right?
Egyptian is good enough. You
Okay,
got it.
so whatever that could be. But all I'm saying is moving forward. So that's not what, once it was written, it was already done. So if that was what he read or that's what he got, that was already something that was already there. He got that off of a scroll or a piece of wood or a brick. I don't know how they was reading that, right? So it was something that somebody said. You can't get mad at me. You got to get mad at his.
No, you're good. You're good.
Manetho, he didn't say it. Somebody else
Right.
said it. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And now he repeating what somebody else said. Now you went right behind him and read the same thing, right? And you comprehended it your way, and he comprehended it his way, but you called him a liar.
Right, because he is my sister.
Before you
Yeah, but
respond,
that's your feelings. Hold up, because in your same Bible, somewhere a scripture say your way ain't my way.
Right. My
Okay,
sister.
Let's
so
just
then,
be
Look,
real. He
look,
read
hold
it
on, hold on,
wrong.
hold on.
wait a
And my
minute. No,
sister,
no,
let
no.
me.
I didn't cut
let her
you
No,
off
go
talk.
ahead.
not
I
one
want you to
time.
finish.
Gideon,
Please
Let
do.
me
let's
finish.
let Gideon
Yeah,
respond
please
to it
do.
after
So
that.
then you
Go
called
ahead,
him
sister.
a liar and you read the same thing your way, but either way it go, this man saying that that's not his way of reading. He couldn't read it Manetho's original language, so he had to read it as it was in his face. So he was reading it third party from jump. So he wasn't saying nothing. He was reading it third party.
Right.
Okay, so you called him a liar reading something third party, and you read it third party and took it fourth party and called Lex a liar.
So my sister,
Let,
okay.
Yes,
let
sir.
him respond, Queen.
So check this out. I don't know what you believe. I don't know what motivates you to wake up in the morning. What I'm about to tell you, I don't is in no way to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. But what
Ooh.
I will say is a truth is a
Ooh.
truth and a lie is a
And the
lie.
truth is the truth. And if we saying that it
My
was if
sister, my
you
sister,
tell
please,
me,
I understand you emotional right now,
No,
but
no,
a
no,
no,
truth
you're
no,
is a
hold
truth.
emotional.
on, hold on. I'm kind of like the moderator at
Right,
referee.
you're emotional,
No,
especially
because
when
No,
you're
no,
you're
no,
trying to
no.
interrupting
Go
compare
me.
Gideon,
I
me.
let
listen.
you
Go talk,
finish,
You're
and when I
for a
start, you're
jab.
interrupting me.
Everybody, we're doing great, and we have a great
Right.
audience. Wait, hold on. It's not about emotional. Let me let you just address what she says, Gideon and sister Queen. Just let him. Go ahead, Gideon. You know what I'm saying? Get your information.
Right, right.
Then,
No,
but I do
because
want to do
she said
this.
a lot
I'm
of
going to
things.
jump
She
in.
said
I know, but I
she
am going to say this. I'm going to jump in and change the lanes a little bit because y'all are doing great, but we're kind of, stuck right here. I want to go back to, we talk about Hyksos and we go and we argue about this. Can we broaden it up and see, are Hyksos only, are foreigners only Israelites? Don't answer that right now. Go ahead and respond to the sister, and then I want to
right,
throw it out to
right.
both the whole panel. Go ahead.
So my sister, the reason why I said was an emotional response because you were saying things that was contradicting not only what you were saying, but what Lex was saying. You were saying that Josephus was reading from a third party, and I guess what you meant was he was reading someone else's words, right? So that's what you were saying, and that's basically what I'm saying. Josephus is not reading his own account, my sister. He's reading what somebody else wrote. So if you're reading it in its context, you will see that. So, like I said, I'm not trying to stop nothing what you believe in, but it's certain things that you just can't go against. And the truth, you can't go against the truth with a lie. That's why I call the brother a liar, because he's lying in our face. He's saying that Josephus is saying that, but you yourself just said Josephus is reading a third-hand account. So not only is he bodying himself and he don't know he's dead, but you just bodied him and you don't know you dead. So again, my sister, I agree with you. Josephus is reading a third-hand account. So my next question to Lex would be, because he was running from the last excerpt he had, because I was just about to body him again with that one. My next question for Lex would be, so when he goes to read the Phoenicians account, which is totally different than the Egyptians, are you saying because according to your logic, he would be claiming the Phoenicians' origin for the Israelites as well. That's what I'm saying. Not only to you, my sister, but to everybody listening.
Right. And
Y'all can
before
hate
you
Yahweh.
answer
Y'all
that,
can hate Yahweh all y'all want,
no, no,
but
no, no, no,
please
Gideon, I
don't
don't hate
go against
Yahweh.
logic.
I don't hate
Don't
Yahweh.
go against logic, because then that's when you look like you're irrational. But go
Got
ahead.
it. Got it, my brother. Listen, first off, let's get the source and bring it up while Lex answers as long as he wants to.
Yeah,
You
bring up that last excerpt you had, Lex, and we can just demonstrate to the people by
said the
just
Phoenician,
deconstructing the
right? But
sentence. You
not
have no
Manetho.
idea what you're talking about.
But you said not Manetho. You
Respectfully.
said, but we'll
This
bring up
is
his text again. You said there's a different source, and then I want to ask. I want Lex to go into the broader term of Hyksos, because it's not just about Israel, right? Right. So go ahead, Lex.
yeah. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let it go because I don't have. It's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
let's move into the
So
serpent.
let's.
I have to go
Yeah.
to-
All right.
No,
So
because
if
listen, I'm
hold one
sorry.
sec, sis.
I'm sorry.
If why is Josephus quoting Manetho in the first? If they have nothing to
Again,
do,
because like I said, he's
bro.
giving
Yo, yo,
testament
yo,
to the
yo, yo,
antiquity
yo,
of the
bro.
Israelites.
Gideon, you brother, let him go. I appreciate you, but just let's let
All
him
right.
go.
If
Thank you, Gideon.
he's calling, like, and this is what I'm saying, yo. Our people have felt, yo, like we can't argue over trivial stuff like this. He's calling Manetho to the stand. If what he's saying is not relevant to his case, then that makes no sense. If what he's quoting from Manetho doesn't serve his case, is he calling him to the stand against himself?
Of course not.
So he's saying, and it's
And what's
clear,
his case? The antiquity of the Jews. I've said it
right? But
earlier.
how does the Hyksos prove the antiquity of the Jew?
Because by them speaking slanderous against the Israelites and dating them far back as the reign of
Yo,
the
bro.
King
Anyway, you're
Khafre,
cutting
it
in, bro.
shows the antiquity
Let
of
him
them,
go, my friend.
regardless of what he's saying.
Gideon,
Simple.
you're gonna get a chance to respond,
I
even though
thought he
we.
asked the
Yeah,
question,
I'm
Napah.
not gonna
I
keep
thought he
going
asked the
back.
question.
Hey,
I know.
yo,
I
listen.
know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, this is why we keep having these same conversations, and that's why y'all two sisters, we can end this right now. Y'all know he doesn't make any sense. Now, Napah has a little whatever thing for Hebrew Israelite, so she'll, whatever. But y'all know he doesn't make any sense. Like, why
Why?
like he's
The
saying
sister just
what,
said
what this,
herself,
hold on,
Josephus
bro.
reading
What
a third-hand account.
this is written. I just read exactly what Josephus says. The reason why he says, and this is truth. And he says he's
Let's go back to
referring
that.
to
Where
our
you at with
people.
that?
So
Let's go back to
you know
that.
what I'm saying?
Let's go back to that.
Like
Let's go
people
back
have
to that
got to be
and
honest.
break
Of
that
course,
down
the
right quick.
Israelite is not going to be honest because it goes
Lex,
against everything that
Lex,
this man wants to be an Israelite. So it's clouding his mind. There is
Lex.
no
Let's show
doubt.
the people what
Hey,
we do
bro,
when
chill
we're
out
by
for a second.
ourselves studying. Let's
There's
do that
no
real quick. Go to
there.
that sentence that you just had and let's deconstruct it.
There's
It's
no
very
doubt
simple. That's what I
about
thought.
what was
That's what I
written.
thought.
There was no doubt about what was written in that text for anybody who can read. And this is when it gets aggravating and frustrating for me because the people won't ever move on and tell the truth.
But don't get aggravated. That's where you
Well,
elevate
I'm
yourself.
good. And
I'm not
so
Well, when the
and
deception
so
is
and
unveiled,
so
people get frustrated. So
and
I
so
understand.
the point is that I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, anybody, if anyone doesn't read that and got something different, with all due respect, your reading skills need upgrading, like 6th grade.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me say this before let's go into. I want both of you to still be here because we have a very engaged audience. Peace to the new brother who hit the panel. Pause. Hit the panel, and I want to talk to you. So you don't want to go into Hicks about the broader term. I don't either. I want you
There's no
both.
need to go into a
Got
broader
it. You're
term
right. You're
because
right.
he's saying that's where we come from. Now we can say it was a mixed bag of nuts. I already know these people were wandering people in the desert. So they wasn't no
And see, this is
there
the
was,
very reason why
bro.
I don't bet
God
with
damn,
guys
bro.
online,
But
because
guess
it's
what?
crazy.
Both of you will align on, because remember, we are going to somehow get to something that's very intriguing. Besides, see,
And Napah, can I ask you something?
go ahead, go ahead.
Did Manetho say that in this article that his forefathers are from the Hyksos?
Don't ask me that
What
because
do you mean? Don't ask you
Yes,
that?
Manetho
because
said that.
you
Yes,
know that.
Manetho said that.
See, this is
No,
what
he
I'm
didn't.
talking
No,
about.
no, no.
We
I
cannot
I
talk about.
understand. You want me to engage because I'm right now
No,
with
I'm just asking you one simple question. Did
I can answer
Manetho
that.
say
No,
in this
and
article
no, he
that
didn't.
did he use Manetho to say that we were the Hyksos in Egypt?
No,
And that's
see,
how
now you're trying to
hey,
clean it
Gideon,
up.
man, I'm talking
Bro,
to
go
Napah.
ahead,
You
bro.
know what, Lex Vortex? I love that you're up here doing this with, and I'm so we're blessed to have you here and Gideon. So I don't want to go into that conversation
No,
because
you don't have to go into it. I just want you to. Did you hear what
you know what
Manetho?
I heard because you've been following me, and I follow you guys both. But I don't want to get into that Hebrew. You know why
Come
I
on.
don't want to get into it? You
No,
want to
it's
know?
not. It's not about you getting into nothing.
I want to hear you and
No,
I've never heard get
you've already heard us. What
let
did you hear Manetho say?
you let me say this. I'm not going to address that. What I'm going
Manetho
to
said, I'm sorry, Napah.
you wait, no, Gideon, wait. You want to know something about Lex Vortex? What I always say to Sonetter and everyone. When Genesis interviewed you, Lex, I said I was the one that said you should interview Lex Vortex. I haven't heard Gideon go into what we would call. Let's not even say. I'm not going to talk about esoteric. Let's just say hermeneutics. Let's go into the hermeneutics of the New Testament, if we
So
could. I
you're
know
not
we
going to
can,
answer that question?
because Lex, I'm not going to answer it. You know why?
Well,
You
what's
want to know why?
going like?
You want
Are
to
we
know why?
here to tell the
Because
truth and to move on with the people
you
or
know
what?
why I'm not, because I wanted to stay neutral between you and the
No,
brother.
I don't want you to. You ain't. It is the truth is neutral. What did you hear?
You really want to look? I don't want to be a part of that.
I want to know if you're going to tell the truth or not. That's what I want to
That
know.
the truth is right there for everyone. And can we move from that? Can we please move from that? Okay, before I do talk about that, if you really want to see how I just was baited in,
No, I just
I want to ask you this. If before I answer that, can you talk about the broader term of Hyksos?
just from that question, I already know your answer. So we
All
can
right,
just
thank
move on.
perfect.
You're not going to tell the truth either because you want to be a Israelite.
Mm,
Sakina, let me ask you: did
The
you hear
Hyksos
what
are
Manetho?
mixed people. They're
But
mixed
did you
people.
hear when Josephus calling Manetho to the stand to witness him being a Hyksos?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's why he called him to the stand.
Right.
So it's like this is this, you know.
so Lex, since you put me on the spot,
Yeah.
okay, you just have that, and I agree. So what does that tell you?
It tells me exactly what I was saying from the beginning when Gideon asked me, "Well, how are you saying that these men were these mountain men from Turkey?" And this is what I pulled up for him because before, remember, he quoted Josephus before I pulled this up. So I'm showing you the religious mind of a delusional black Hebrew Israelite. On one minute he says, "Oh, Josephus said this." Then I say, "Okay, you believe Josephus?" And then I show him Josephus saying this. Now all of a sudden, it ain't that. That shows you what religion does to the mind.
Now, let me ask you a
Now
question.
Gideon probably really believes that I'm lying. That's how delusional he is.
No, I know you
Like even
lying.
what he
Hold on.
read, he
I
read
know
it
for a
for
fact
hold up,
you
hold up.
lying, Lex.
He read it for himself and got something different out of it. Out of plain language. How do
Okay,
you do that
let me
unless
ask
you're
you, Lex. You kept
delusional?
on asking me, you pressed me. So let me ask you, because yes, I understand. Remember, Lex, I'm listening. Run for the mountains. Oh, you used to always say that, you. So let me ask you a question, though. Now we're going to go to the Hyksos. Josephus, so you agree that Josephus claims that he is a Hyksos, or that his people were Hyksos,
That
correct?
his origin is with the Hyksos. And when they talking about
Great.
the Exodus story, he's using Egypt and Manetho to say those were us.
Hold on, stop. So if we go into the just We'll move away from the accounts of Manetho and just Josephus and everything. So let's go to what the Hyksos were. Were they only one particular group
No,
in Kemet?
they're not a one particular group.
Great. They were mostly like called the foreigners, right?
They were Asiatic, wandering, desert dwelling sheep
Oh,
herds.
see how you just did that? Let's go back. I'm gonna ask you again. Were they
I just told you they
were
were
Hyksos
Asiatic.
known as foreigners?
Were they foreigners?
Before you get specific with Asiatic, now you're being specific. Were Hyksos in Kemet? Did that word basically mean foreigner in the land of Kemet?
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Okay, now I think we all have a happy holding hands, kumbaya.
What do you mean? I didn't understand that at all.
Well, because could not the Israelites be foreigners in the land of Kemet?
Yes, they would. That's why Josephus
exactly
is using Manetho to tell you who they are.
Okay, so I
let's say the Israelites are
Herodotus
Hyksos.
explained them.
So
the
the Hyksos are mountain men from Turkey.
No, you're going backwards. We don't need to do that because now we're just honing in to one particular group. When we hear about the account of the Hyksos, the crux of it is that Manetho is talking about a group of foreigners that were in the land, and that would align with the story of the so-called Israelites, correct? Everybody's all right with that, right?
No.
That's why he's using
only in the part
story.
that the Hyksos were Hebrew people and a mixture of Egyptians as well.
All right.
They
Can we do it like
were
this?
a confederation of nomadic tribes from the Levant.
What is the purpose of Josephus calling this testimony and record to the stand?
Okay, so very simple, and that's why I say you got to read it. Like, okay, go to verse 15. Again, he keeps reiterating the motif or the theme of why he's
Just tell
writing
me
it.
what was the purpose,
He
bro.
says,
I don't have to
move on.
he
Bro.
says, but now
What is
I
the
shall
purpose? Let me
produce.
ask you
Hold
again.
on, my brother.
No, bro.
That's
I
why
don't
you
got
don't
time
learn,
for
because
the
you're
childish.
talking when you should be
No,
listening.
I'm asking you a
It
direct
says,
question, bro. Do you see how these dudes are like children? Let me ask you again. Listen to the question. What is the purpose of Josephus calling Manetho to the witness stand? All you got to do is state the purpose. Not, oh, he said this, man, and doing all this Louisiana
To
voodoo
validate
shit.
that his people were.
no, Napah, I'm gonna go straight to the source.
Okay, and then y'all
It
gotta let
says,
Jose in.
but
Y'all.
Yeah, man.
now,
Let's let Jose, because
y'all gotta let
hold
Jose in.
on.
He's been
Very
in for a
simple.
minute.
Hold
Let me
on.
let
I'm going
Gideon
straight to the
come, and then we'll
sentence,
bring
and I'm
Jose
gonna
in,
relinquish.
and then
It
we're going to go into
says,
the hermeneutics of the scripture about the stupid.
right. It says, but now I shall produce the Egyptians as witnesses to the antiquity of our nation.
All right.
Hold
There it is.
on, my brother. Hold
No,
on.
man, let's move
I know it
on.
hurt, bro. Hold
To the
on, bro.
antiquity
It's
of
very
our
simple.
nation, bro.
Yes,
It's
That's
very
Lex,
simple.
you're
simple.
right. Lex, you're
It's
right, but
very
let him
simple,
explain.
Lex. I shall therefore bring in Manetho again. So you're asking me, why is he bringing the Egyptians for a testament? And
To
it's
what?
for the antiquity of the Israelites.
Okay.
I've said that from the
Goddamn.
very
How
Lex,
slow
calm
can you
down.
be?
Calm
That was
down, Lex.
brilliant. You got this.
Listen,
You got it.
I said that at the very onset of this
Oh,
conversation.
all right, bro. Okay. Hey, what
See,
up,
you
Jose?
keep trying to find a room to go in where you can jump out the window, but they all lock. Like, you got to deal with
He
the
said for
information.
the antiquity of our
Well, the
nation.
Jews. That's actually
Right.
what his title is. Yes.
Exactly.
So that's
And
what he's saying.
again,
He's using them.
it's
Yo,
another
bro.
Blues Clues for the people in elementary school,
All right,
that when he makes phrases like them and they, is speaking of a
He's
separation
quoting
of him
Manetho.
and the
I already
people.
showed you that.
Come on.
All right, we got this. These brothers actually, whether they know it or not, came to a actual consensus. With that said, we got more arguing, debating for you two. Don't worry about it. I just want to move to Jose. And then I'm going to go hand it back to Sakina. You can always jump in. Like I said, you have carte blanche. But I'm going to hand it back to Lex, and I'm going to ask him if he and Gideon agree. I want to talk to them. Not agree. Scratch that. Who is the serpent in the garden as far as the divinity? Because we're going to talk about the divine council. I'm going to start there. But before we do, let's go to Jose. Jose, you can weigh in for don't take too long. And then we're going to go back, and I'm going to ask these two brothers, these two teachers, who's the divine council in Genesis chapter 1, 2, and 3? Peace, Jose.
What's up? You hearing me, right?
Yes.
Gideon is wrong. Simple as that. He's wrong. Gideon is wrong.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because he doesn't understand Manetho was not a Greek. He was a native nation who spoke Greek. That is why he referred to him for the history of Kemet. And Jabari quoted a passage on the show when he was answering a guy named Dr. Folk, saying that the same Manetho said that the Hyksos, as you call them, or the Aamu, the Asians, were savages who were invited into Kemet, and then they invaded and tried to take over, and then they lied about it in their holy, saying that they were slaves. And he showed the source. I want to hear what Gideon say about that.
Well, first of all, I don't think I called Manetho a Greek. I said he translated it into the Greek tongue. He was all up to Ptolemy's butt. That's what I was saying.
Answer the second part of what I said.
What was the second part?
I said Manetho. I said Jabari quoted another Greek historian, quoting Manetho, and saying the Hyksos were people who were barbarians who took over in Kemet and lied about it, saying that they were slaves in the holy book. I want you to answer that. Tell me if you're going to say about
Herodotus.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with that as well, but I think all that comes from the same book. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt Manetho saying that. He slandered the Israelites all the time.
He didn't slander, he told the truth. They lied.
Right.
That's what he said.
Right. So you're taking Manetho's word?
Josephus took his word.
He wouldn't lie.
Okay, we gonna calm down, Lex. So you're taking Manetho's word? That's all I'm asking you.
Over yours, yes.
So
not over mine. I mean, you just met me. You almost know me, like.
Anyway, the brother.
I hope you wouldn't.
Personal, my friends. So basically, okay. So the brother says, Jose says he agrees with Lex. And what I want everybody to do is go over the information. Again, I'm not, I'm not gassing anybody up here. This is a great topic. Lex brought forth information. If you're in this community, you should know who Manetho is. You should know who Josephus is. You should definitely know who the Hyksos are. So we got that out the way. I want to hear you two scratch each other's eyes.
Can I ask a question really quick?
Of course. I want to see them scratch each other's eyes out, or maybe or try to scratch my eyes out on the divine council, which I showed before Gideon came up here. I think they're going to be aligned on that. But go ahead, Queen.
Okay, well, I just want to ask really quick because again, when we with Herodotus being in there as well, also saying that the haikus were mixed as well. But again,
wait, what did he say? What did he say?
Gideon, he also said that that the haikus were mixed. When he came in, because they said Herodotus he wasn't a good reader, but he could count, right? And he knew this because of the phenotype of the color of these people. They were a little lighter than he was. Let's say it that way.
Right. So, she's going back to Herodotus now. So
okay,
they were a little lighter than Herodotus.
Yeah. They were a little darker than he was, but they were a little right, because he was mixed himself. Okay, so when we go to because he, like I said, he could count, but he couldn't read. So this is why he also made that comparison himself. So when you doubted what Jose was saying, you act as if you didn't know that uh, the high coasts conquered Egypt, and then the Greeks conquered Egypt from the high coasts, and then they got conquered by the Romans. So why did you doubt that? That's the history of it. So how did you doubt that happening?
Okay, and how was the sequence of events? Say that again.
Okay, so Egypt was conquered by the it was conquered by the Hebrews or in the high coasts. That's what they called them, the high coasts. And then they were conquered by the Greeks, and they were conquered by Romans. How did you not know that?
You
You
said
didn't know
the
it's the
Hyksos was
Hyksos.
conquered by the Greeks.
The Hyksos were conquered by Greeks and Romans, correct?
Actually, that's not true. But
Okay, so how did it go in your Bible?
no,
Not Bible, but
I'm talking about
history.
history. It didn't go
Okay,
like
well,
that.
how it was conquered by because after the Greek the Hebrews and the the Hebrews and the visitors, we're gonna call them visitors because that's what happened. They came in as visitors.
They was ran out.
Okay, see, this is another story. So one minute I hear that they got kicked out, and then one minute I heard they left as slaves. So which one was it? Did they
No,
That's
leave?
what
no.
I'm saying, my sister. Listening
Hold
to
on,
Lex,
bro.
you'll be
Sakina,
very
you know
confused.
exactly. Thutmose and Amos, this is historical, ran them out. This is a true account. It's written on Egyptian walls.
Okay.
Thutmose and Amos
Well, it's
ran the
actually Kamos
Hyksos.
and Amos, and Kamos died
Yeah,
trying.
yeah, you're right. Kamos. Amos ran them out of Egypt. That's not even up for debate.
But
And
it's
while
like
we on that,
I don't
let's
want to
take a
be
pause for
going
Black
in there knowing
Power
that you can't
and give
survive 40
thanks.
years in
Yeah,
a you
let's take a
can't
Right,
pause
survive
for
40
Black Power.
days
I
in the
like that. Go
Sahara
ahead,
Desert
Gideon.
right,
without no
right. And
water.
All right, so
Pause for
here,
Black
real
Power.
quick.
What?
Hey,
Wait,
real quick, y'all.
wait, Lex. Let him. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you fully
Yeah,
go.
let him go ahead
Pause
and
for
answer.
Black Power and what? Gideon.
and let's give a shout out for Pan African unity because the Kushites were our allies in that war against those fascist Egyptians.
Yeah, but
Oh
that wouldn't have
damn!
been
I
Pan
like that.
African.
That I used to kick
I don't
against.
That's
believe
I used to
that.
kick
if it was
against the
Pan
thorn.
African. If it was Pan African, the Egyptians would have been cool with them too.
Lex,
Pan African is
I gotta
all
say this,
many
brother. Let
Africans
me give you
coming
your
together.
flowers. Let me give you your flowers, Lex. Lex used to say and I used to be like, no, no, no. But I think Gideon's right. The Canaanites, we need. You could say Egyptians, this and that, Cometics, but I'm with Gideon on that. I'm with
On
Gideon on
what?
that. On the whole, well, it wasn't just a set like we hated each other so much in this stark division. There was a lot of blending. I don't know if Gideon was saying that, but that's how I feel.
That's
Right,
not what
and
Gideon
no,
was saying.
even
But
to
he's talking
the
about.
fact of the
Don't
Hyksos,
let him
we
confuse you. He's
see.
talking about,
Hold on, Lex, my brother. We see
bro. There's
that
some
the
Pan
term
Africanism with the
right,
Hyksos, bro.
the
Like, come
term,
on, y'all. Let's stop playing. They ain't even
the
African.
term, right,
I'm gonna
the
let you
term,
go, Lex. Just let him say the last part that
Jesus
he wants to say, and then I'm gonna
Christ.
hand it
right,
over to you.
right,
And
and
don't interrupt him once he goes, Gideon, please. Thank you.
to give some credence to Napah's point when she's speaking of the Hyksos, although we could clearly, well, I clearly see that Josephus is not giving the Israelite origins to the Hyksos, but merely reading what Manetho says. I will state that, the Hyksos basically was a term that was put on those people by Manetho, meaning basically a foreigner. And we see the first foreign kings that came into Egypt was actually in the 12th dynasty from Canaan. So those could even be labeled as Hyksos. And we know that Joseph, when he came into the land, that was before Amos and Kamos. So those remnant people could have been very well part of the Hyksos. So, I would say that again, that is a conglomerate of people from the Levant, but nowhere in the text is Josephus giving validity to the origins stating by Manetho, only the antiquity given by Manetho indirectly. That's all.
Okay.
Okay,
So
now
so real
let me
quick,
ask this question because every
Sakina.
marker that Kemet made, going up and down, east and north and south, east and west, these markers, Simtawi, and the Heka, making markers up and down in Egypt. How would you not? They had wives that were from other tribes, other places. Once they conquered a tribe or so, they married these sisters of royalty. So how are we not saying? So we knew they married out of other nations, other tribes. So we're not even suggesting that didn't happen. But when we say Hyksos, we are talking about other nations of other races. We are not even talking because we know Egypt as a or Africa as a continent. We are not talking about that. We're not. I'm with Lex on this. This ain't that. So y'all going you making this more than Hyksos meant something different when he said Asian and African is two different things, and this ain't that. So
Okay, let me let Lex come in and address both you and Gideon.
I'm gonna
And
mute
what
up.
you both said. Okay, go ahead,
He,
Lex.
he he keeps saying that Josephus doesn't agree. I have it right here on the screen. This is Manetho's account, and evident it is from the number of years by him set down belonging to this interval. If they be summed up together, that these shepherds, this is Josephus talking, that these shepherds, as they are called, who were no other than our forefathers. Is anybody confused about that sentence, Napah? Are you confused at
The
all?
gods have spoken. What say
Seriously,
ye, Gideon?
are you
No, I'm
confused?
kidding.
No, now I don't
No, I'm
want to
not
talk to
confused.
Gideon.
Go ahead, Lex. No, but I
What
get
does that mean when he says who were no other than our forefathers?
you know what it says. Keep going. Keep
So
cooking.
why does this man keep saying that Josephus didn't agree with Manetho?
And you want him
This
to
is
respond?
Manetho's account. He says this is his account. And evident it is from the number of years by him set down belonging to this interval, if they be summed up together, right? He's saying if you take all the things he said and sum them up together, that these shepherds, as they are called, who were no other than our forefathers, were delivered out of Egypt and came hence and inhabited this country.
Okay, let's let him respond.
No, let's.
Are you not done? Go ahead. Let's finish up. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, I'm just saying, like, does he really need to respond to that?
Yes,
Well, let's
yes.
let him
Are, are,
respond.
are are you done?
Yeah, I want you to go fully
Let me
Are
out.
take
you
my
done,
let me take
Lex?
my pain pills and get ready for your response. Go ahead.
Right,
Hit the
right.
like, family.
Because that bomb was strapped
Everybody
to your
take their pain
that bomb
pills
was strapped to your chest just
and
now,
get your
and it's
ginkgo
crazy.
biloba, green tea, whatever you need to protect your brain from
Right.
this response to this sentence. Go ahead.
Can you
And
dig
and
it?
and before I start this, to the people listening, this is one thing I always say when y'all listen to somebody, or when I listen to somebody. I like to listen to what they said the first time I heard them, all the way up until present time, to see if it always line up. Now, unless they say they changed their stance or they had a Waskett moment or whatever.
We're
But
dealing
if
with
they
this sentence
always
right now,
claim that,
bro.
say certain things, you can catch them contradicting themselves. And what I'm saying is this, that Lex, again, all
Forget
he had to
Lex. Deal
do
with the sentence I
all
read,
you had
sir.
to do, Lex, all you had to do was continue reading. One thing I say from the very beginning of this is why Josephus brings Manetho out. And if Lex would have kept reading
Hey,
and the
Napah, you
pie
gotta meet.
premature,
Hey,
Napah
You do? Hey,
Napah blew up his suicide vest, so I guess he
all right,
couldn't
hold on,
talk.
bro.
But let
Read
me
the
read
sentence.
it.
No, Lex, let him finish up.
Thank you,
What are we?
Napah. And
He's not addressing the sentence.
you've been great at this. You know, I see.
Y'all are tough to moderate.
Yeah. So no doubt.
Read the
So
sentence, bro.
Manetho, therefore, like I say, and and again,
Just
gaslighting with
read
the
the
word,
sentence and
my
break it
brother,
down.
my brother,
Start from this is
my brother.
Manetho's account.
Calm
Read
down,
the
Lex.
You
sentence.
know you're gonna get time to talk, Lex. Let him go.
Lex.
I'm just trying to get him to where we're not just
My
talking.
brother, calm down, my brother. Man, you sound like an apple right now, but damn.
Right,
So
because
look,
you're nigga babbling.
right.
Just read the
So
sentence.
listen, first of all, what my brother did was he gaslit people with the word evident
Oh
to
my
make it
God.
seem like it's evidence. But all Josephus said was it's evident
Read it.
by
Read the
Lex.
sentence,
Now I'm
bro.
gonna have to start telling you to shut up, bro.
No,
Okay,
because
no, you're not. No, we can do this. He's gonna be cool because he knows he can come back in. Let him go ahead and do what he needs to
Thank
do.
you,
he's what
Napah.
what I'm saying
What you
is
I
scared
get
of,
what you're
Lex, bro?
saying, Lex, but we're
Man,
gonna let
it's
him
just
go,
words, man. It's
and you
just
gotta come
words.
in afterwards because you're gonna
so
get
we're
a
just gonna
chance.
waste another 10
It's
minutes of
just
him not
words, bro. We
addressing
No,
sat up
what
no,
the
here
no.
and
hell.
listened to you.
I'm gonna give you. Now we're gonna start time because we gotta move on to something. So another topic for you two and for the sister and whoever wants to hit the link. Can you give us? Can you give us a 2 minutes at the most, brother Gideon, and then we move on, please?
I don't need that long.
Got it. Go ahead.
Right. So again, when he read that first beginning part, this is evident. All that means was Josephus was adding up the numbers and giving the total. It's no type of like he's been presupposing all night. Like there's no presupposition in that stating that that's speaking of he's saying that that's evidence of what he's saying in totality is true. That's how you have to be able to dissect the sentence and be able to deconstruct it. That's why he didn't want to go to the last one. So we're gonna start right there. He tried to gaslight the audience with that first sentence. But if he would have kept reading the whole part, and like I said in the very beginning, why Josephus drug Manetho's stupid looking self up there anyway was to be a testimony to our antiquity. And we see it again right here. Manetho therefore bears this testimony to 2 points of the greatest consequence to our purpose. And what's our purpose, Lex? Take your helmet off and answer. Our purpose is the antiquity and the validity of the Israelite people, right?
Yes.
So therefore, look, consequence to our purpose and those from the Egyptian records themselves. In the first place, that we come out of another country into Egypt, and that with our deliverance out of it was so ancient in time as to have preceded the siege of Troy almost 1,000 years. Again.
Damn!
Only reason. Go ahead, Lex.
Go ahead, Gideon. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were done.
Yeah, no, I was done. It's
All right.
simple, like, just read the whole thing, Lex.
Go ahead, Lex. And then like you said,
I'd
like to know what you two think about the divine council. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can end it up. I'm just gonna say that was stupid. I have no comment. He didn't even address the part. Didn't even read the sentence. So break down the part when he says no other than our forefathers. What was he saying there?
Again, okay, let's break it down, right? It says, and it's gonna be real fast. Scroll down, scroll down. It says again, giving credence to. I mean, for goodness sake, Josephus wrote a book called "The Antiquity of the
See what I'm,
Jews." Okay, go ahead. Let's go to another subject because
No,
what
go
he's
ahead.
trying to
No,
do.
you said you deal
My
with
brother, you
who
can
were
stand on your soapbox for minutes and minutes at a time
you read it.
give your
You
opinion.
were supposed to
Like,
be
bro, come
addressing
on, man. This
who were
is
no
getting
other.
ridiculous now.
See, this is what I'm saying with
Let me
this.
let you just go. Get in. Just let Lex do it.
Gideon, I said break down the part.
No,
Who
I
were
gave
no
him the floor,
other.
Napah. He
Hold on,
asked me to
listen.
read
I
it,
know you
and
did. I
I'm
know
reading.
you did. So we got 2 minutes left, and then we can move
Who were
on.
no other than our forefathers. What does that mean, Gideon?
Okay, go ahead. You want him to engage? Don't
Just answer that one question simply. Don't go into a diet. Who were no other than our
Unmute
forefathers?
Gideon, please unmute. So
What does
he's
that mean,
engaging,
Gideon?
so you can't get upset if he's. 2 more minutes, and then we got to go on to hear from you two with the. I want to hear the hermeneutics on Genesis 1, 2, and 3, and the serpent and the divine council. So go ahead, Gideon. Let's finish this up. Please
Yeah,
show
just
yourself for the family. I don't know who you are.
just
Yeah,
that one part, Gideon.
again, Lex. So
Just that one part.
you obviously don't want me to break this simple sentence down for the people. So I'm just gonna tell you that this is Josephus giving Manetho's account.
Why did he say who were no other than our forefathers? What does that
Look,
mean exactly?
I'm not gonna break the sentence down how
You
you
see
want
what
me
I'm
to break it
saying?
down
And
because it's
that's
obviously
where,
there's a disconnect
see,
that you
bro.
can't get it.
All
So
right. So
I
as
just
you,
answered. I'm just letting you know that's Josephus quoting Manetho.
no, he's not. He said who were no other than our. So you're saying that Manetho is saying the Hyksos were the Egyptians' forefathers? You're an idiot, bro. Let's move on, bro. He's trying to say that Manetho is saying that the Hyksos are their forefathers. No, he's not. He's saying this is Manetho's account, but those are his words agreeing with Manetho.
All right, let's take this down, and you guys doing great. Nobody on this panel is an idiot. Definitely not you brothers, and I know I'm not an idiot, and the queen isn't. So let me ask you a question. Everybody enjoyed that. Not only enjoyed it, you have gotten the information. You can. I see a lot of people in the chat like, "Oh, Lex is right. Oh, Gideon's right." So now you brothers are gonna always. This is a conversation you've had 1,000 times with each other, right? Hello.
Yeah, we've had this kind. Well,
Listen,
not the
I'm not
Hyksos
playing
per
games.
se,
I'm not
but
playing games.
This
I'm
isn't a
like,
game. This is a.
no,
This is
I'm
a
not talking
conversation.
about you. I'm just saying in general, like some people just do this for debate, and that's cool. But stuff like this is just ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? Like
it really is.
that's why he's still having. That's why he
It's
couldn't answer
no,
that part. It's
it's
like,
no scholar alive that will repeat what you said. Like I'm
what are you
entertaining it
talking
because
about?
this the chitlin circuit, quote unquote. But
Oh
like
shit.
you walking into anybody halls or
And
anybody's
reading Josephus,
libraries
what
or
Josephus
but
said.
these people will laugh you out. Even
Hold on,
elite
they will
black
laugh me
scholars
or laugh you out the
laugh
building.
you
Come
out of
on,
there.
let's be real,
Laugh
bro.
you out of
When it
there,
comes to
bro.
me and you, bro, it's like college and kindergarten. Let's just be
Right.
real.
Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough.
I really don't like doing that, but I wanted to try it. I know Sonny
It's
does that.
literally college and kindergarten.
Okay, but guess what? We're gonna let Sakina come in, and Sakina, no, I really want you two to do something. I've heard you guys talk. You think I don't listen? I've heard you guys talk about this 1,000 times. So I can't do this anymore about who's this and Manetho. I want to hear the depth of your hermeneutics. I really do. And this is where I can really sit back and we can really enjoy an in-depth uh, how do you say enriched uh, breakdown of the New Testament as well as the Genesis, the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Because you know I'm where I'm going. Jesus is a serpent. Okay, got it. Because if you really do hermeneutics, both of you believe in the Messiah. Well, I know Lex is very unconventional, but my point is,
That's not the word.
no. Well, my point is, from what I know, everything is the Messiah when we go on the basics of hermeneutics, right? So before you answer that, I want to let Sakina Ra weigh in very briefly, but very concisely. And then I'm going to come in and ask you both. Talk to us about, the hermeneutics of Jesus in the Old Testament, or the Messiah in the Old Testament. Thank you. Hold on, please, brothers. Go ahead, Sakina. Give your weigh in on their last conversation.
Okay, so where I'm at, in my, because y'all know I'm Kemet, but I'm also engulfing my spirituality. So in that, because I told you I'll do my precept by precept, because I done did a few religions, and that's in the region I live in. Because a lot of us will go and date other religions, or not even religion. A lot of the races will eat a lot of ethnic foods, but when it comes to this religion, we'll stay to that one, and then we'll tell somebody else they lying, but we ain't been nowhere. But the Tower of Babel might be real. So eventually you find out that these fairy tales might be real, and some of this Bible was allegorical and it wasn't literal, right? And so that's what's wrong with your understanding. Detrimonia, dementia. See, because you'll find out that this wasn't that and that wasn't this. And then in that Bible, it says you ain't supposed to be looking for a God. You're supposed to be seeking for the truth, right? And everybody's saying that the God wasn't this and the devil wasn't that. And then they all the same. Because when I was growing up, it was a one cartoon that had a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other shoulder. And that's what I told my kids. You better listen to the one on your left side that said, don't do that, because that one gonna get you in trouble. And then the angel was on the other side saying, don't do that, that's gonna get you in trouble. Then you had the devil on the left side saying, go ahead and do it. You know you want to do it. Have some fun. See what I'm saying? Then when you get in trouble, we end up going to jail or whatever happens. Then they say the devil made you do it. But what happens when you tell the devil you're going to jail? Because that's the principles in my eyes. That's what happens in the long run. You got to be responsible for your actions.
Oh, so
That's
you
what's
believe in
wrong.
my sister?
Everybody got to be responsible for yourself. That's being an adult. That's some of the principles in my eye. That's growing up.
No, I was asking you. That's what you believe in, my yacht
That's
principle.
exactly what I believe in. That's where I had to end up being, because this was the way I was raised. This was the way
Could I,
they were raised. But I
what are
didn't
those
even know it.
principles, if you don't
No, no,
mind
no.
me
Before
asking?
we, I don't want to. I know you
But
want
I
to ask
don't
that.
right,
Can you
because in
quickly
the
I
end
just
you
answer
was
gotta
that and
walk
then
me
inquiring.
like you're talking.
Christus?
But so the Jesus, you had the first testament, because we had to believe in something. So you had your first testament, you got your second testament, and then you had to become that third testament. And in the principles in my eye, you become that Haru, the Jesus in you. If you waiting to look to see what would Jesus do, then we need to get away from you.
Okay, and
Because
with that
Jesus
understood,
was the action.
I want to share this really quickly just to get into this because I got to ask you some questions, Gideon. I've heard from Lex, not fully, but I want to just at least hear from both of you. I know it's late, but y'all are doing great. Please just give us a little bit more time. So you know Genesis chapter 1, for those, this isn't for you and Lex or Sakina, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, God, and then that word is Elohim. Now, I know we need to touch on it, but please don't go so deep into the rabbit hole that we just forget about what I'm trying to initial. What?
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. You know I
No,
do
no,
the.
not you, not you. I'm saying all three of you. Elohim. Are we in agreement that that is a divine counsel? Please, God, say you are. Go ahead. Anybody, jump in. Is it a divine counsel? Yes or no?
Well, that's what I
Well,
heard.
Yes,
go ahead, my sister.
I don't
Go
know
ahead,
about
Lex.
divine, but yes,
Thank you. A counsel. Got it. Gideon.
it's a group
Yeah,
of
it's
beings.
it's nothing Lex is talking about.
Okay, then I'm gonna hold off on you, Gideon, and let me go to sister because you might take a little bit longer. Lex says yes, great. What about you, Sakina? Is that word
Yeah, I've heard it was a divine counsel.
great? Okay,
Yes, but we know
perfect.
it was many
So
guys. So yes.
got it. So we got consensus with three of us. What about you? Go ahead, Gideon. Elaborate. You can don't feel pressed, but be concise.
Right,
So there's more to
right,
this. So you say no or yes?
right. I say no, because just because I'm quite sure it's in total contrast to what Lex is talking about. So when you say divine counsel, it's nothing you can describe Yahweh Elohim as. I'll say that. But when we looking at it, if you want to, if so, since we're esoterically speaking, or we're trying to get on that train of thought,
Yeah.
we do know that knowledge and wisdom bring forth understanding. So that's Yahweh Elohim right there. So if you want to call that a divine counsel, yes.
Okay,
But
so we're
like I say,
really
it's nothing what Lex is talking about.
okay. I know he's your arch nemesis. You also,
He said
even
arch
though
nemesis.
you like
Like
no, I'm just
Nah,
joking.
he's just silly.
that
He
just made
trolls a
no
lot.
sense.
He's running in these YouTube streets,
Let
making
him
all these
do it.
abo children and then neglecting them and then turning
But
his back on them with his
right now,
irresponsible scholarship. It's just
brother,
crazy.
brother, we are all doing a very. We're like the Senate right now. We get with that. You got you know I don't agree with Lex, and Lex does not agree with me, and Sakina doesn't always agree with me. So you get what I'm saying? I get where you were coming from with all that, but I just want you to tell me, and you did. So I want to show you everyone. I
What did he
appreciate.
tell you, Napah?
He said basically acquiesce to yes, it is a council. Let me see if
No,
he's.
he didn't. He didn't even. This is what I'm saying. He didn't even. I don't know what he. He didn't give an answer.
Okay, well let's let him
If
elaborate.
if
But
if
before you do, my
uh,
friends, let me just play this a little bit for the audience. So we see the Hebrew. For those, most of us don't speak Hebrew or read Hebrew fluently. So let's just go to the blue letter. And anybody wants to fight me on that, shout out to the rosters. I love my roster brothers and sisters. So, but anyway, so we have here the Elohim is H. What is it? Everybody sees it, right? Let me scroll up. H430, and that is
Strong's H430, entry 1. Eloach. Eloach. Second entry. Elohim. Elohim.
okay, great. Now
And the third
I'm
entry.
gonna say Eloah again.
Eloach.
Got it.
Eloach.
Very thorough. So we know Elohim is the plural. We all agree on that. I know we do. I just want to get
yeah.
quickly through this. So it says rulers, plural. It's a plural word. Rulers, judges, divine ones, and judges is also in the language Allah or El is God. Angels, gods. Okay, so I get it. Let's move on. Let's move on because what I really want to ask y'all before we really get to hear from you. I know I want to play this again. I like this little video because people need, the visual and
I think everybody gets it.
Lex, no, don't do that. Don't be like let them eat cake. Because everybody does not get it. And so I won't play this long, don't worry. But it's a divine counsel. I'm gonna play like 1 minute of this, just 1 minute even of this video, and then we will talk to all three of you about the garden. Okay, quickly. Here we go.
Human history, people have believed in some kind of spiritual realm that exists alongside the world as we know it.
Right. And the biblical authors are no exception.
Yeah, for them, the spiritual realm is a different kind of realm than ours. And to highlight that difference, the Bible refers to God's space as the sky or the heavens.
Because the sky is really different from the land. It's above and beyond. And up there are shiny bodies that move around. I think of these as flaming gas balls.
But when the biblical authors looked up, the stars gave them a way to talk and think about spiritual beings. In the Bible, they're called the sons of God, or the rulers and authorities, or even sometimes the divine council.
So that sounds really important. What does the divine council do?
Well, they're introduced in Genesis chapter 1, where they're called the host of heaven, that is, the sun, moon, and stars. And there, they're also called signs, meaning that their power and status symbolizes and points to God's power and status.
Yeah, so in Genesis 1, God appoints them to rule over the day and night.
Exactly. And then later in the Bible, we're told that they were celebrating God's power and creativity when he...
And we know that's in Psalms, right? Okay, so done. See, that wasn't so bad. That's what happens when you get the shot at this. Okay, now I'm going to go to everybody. Whoever wants to go first, jump in. Well, let's give you we'll give you 2 minutes. According to what we saw, you can say, well, I don't agree with that, or you can say, yes, I agree with that, and elaborate it. according to what we know about the Elohim in Genesis 1, before you get to the serpent, talk to us about that particular concept of God in the beginning. And I'm going to let anyone, whoever jumps in, you get 2 minutes, and that's that, okay? And nobody interrupts. Anybody. Is it buffering? She said it's buffering.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
Go ahead,
But
Gideon, and we'll
one
move on
thing,
to
one thing. I mean,
Go ahead, 2 minutes.
I mean, I don't want to put a spotlight on it, but Lake's gonna be real slow to speak, which is wise because he know that I'm like certain people he just can't say what he usually would say, so that's why I guess he's kind of just slow to speak right now, which is I say like is a good thing. But I mean, just to fill a space. Uh, well, when we look at the Elohim, like I said, even the scriptures. Well, first of all, I disagree with what that video said because the Elohim are not the sun and the stars. The stars, the moon. Those are their own entity. But we do see in extra biblical sources that some of those many Elohim was chained to the planets. So again, that's why I always say when we hear a European, God bless their heart, they can get salvation, and a lot of them are very smart. But when it comes to spiritual things and matters, sometimes they get it kind of mixed up more often than not. So yeah, they kind of mishmash that part in there. But the Elohim that's spoken of in Genesis 1, as I said, that's God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is relayed through scriptures as, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So that's the Elohim, that's the divine council. It wasn't none of the quote unquote angels that was in any council with Yahweh, making decisions with Yahweh. What Yahweh does according to Deuteronomy 6, he does it unilaterally. He does it without asking nobody nothing. He confers with oneself, so to speak. So
Thank you so much, Brother Gideon. Anybody else? Sakina or next one? 2 minutes, please, Sakina.
Okay, this is why again when I speak on being in the my
Wait,
principle.
1 second. They keep saying it's buffering.
That's them. That's probably their.
Is it buffering, y'all, though? Because somebody else said it. One of the mods said
Let me
it.
see.
you're
Is it?
coming across pretty clear and
Me
smooth
too,
to
but
No, it's
me.
not. I'm looking at it on my other.
okay, cool. So that's weird.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
You posted. I'm sorry. Start over. I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, go ahead. Because I
okay,
really
so
want to hear from all of you. Because we're going to get to were they evil or were they good? Because I know Lex is chomping at the bit. No, disrespect to say Yahweh was part of that evil council, but I digress. Go ahead, Sakina. You can start over.
okay, so again when I doing my little precept by precept, I was into Hinduism. And so in the Kabbalah and in the universal practices in Hinduism, this is where I think Hinduism, Buddhism, and being Kemetic, these things go together right now. And for some odd reason, I believe Muslim practices do as well. So somewhere along the line, all of these things are connected. This is what I believe. The people, us as a people, period. And we got lost. So these 12 tribes are us as a people all together. And when I be saying stuff, lost, and I know I play a lot, Lex. That's why you get mad at me sometimes. I don't care. But long story short, these principles, the laws of correspondence and the laws of polarity and all of these things. And some people don't believe in these universal laws, but some of these things will give you this meditation, this balance, some of these things that you might not even think about because stuck in that Bible don't give you that. And some of this stuff will calm down your nerves, right? This will put you back in something that you might even not think about. But you are quick to run and get a pill until you be running around shaking like a maraca. You see what I'm saying? I'm 58 and I have had my share to a point that I have said, how much stuff do you put in your closet, right? To you think that you're gonna open the door and it's gonna fall down on you like an avalanche if you thinking that you're gonna keep on putting it and waiting on Jesus to come or the Lord gonna fight that battle. When do you step up and become to step up on you for
Well,
yourself?
sister, one thing you said that's true. You said, these laws. We have to have these laws. Something you were saying to that effect.
Okay, but now
Well,
understand me. The laws came from the church. The priest was the one that did atonement that no longer happened. You became your own atonement after the death of Christ.
right.
Now you eat the cracker and you drink the wine. Now it is up to you. That's how it was in Kemet, and now that's how it is now. That is the same way you raise your children. That's all I found out when I got to Kemet. So we are back there. We back to being responsible. So these things that I learned along the way was just another way to meditate universally.
Thank you,
The
sister.
laws of polarity, the laws of rhythm, the principle of gender, as above, so below. Just get the book of the Kabbalah, the universal laws.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sakina. All right, so now I appreciate you. I was listening as I checked. Okay, we heard from Gideon and Sakina. Now, Lex, you have your time. Go ahead, brother.
Simply, as a mystic, we can the difference that separates mystics from everyone else is that we can find the truth in any culture, religion, book, whatever, whether it be Egypt, what I'm saying, the Hebrews, um, like Sakina was saying, there's universal laws that certain people with a certain amount of information just understand. If I was to put a Hindu yogi in a room, a Chinese Buddhist, an Islamic Sufist, and a Gnostic in a room, they wouldn't have much argument. They will see the universal truth in all things, and they wouldn't be blinded by all of the surface stuff on the surface. But in terms of the Elohim, no, there's good and bad ones. It's not about just good and evil. These beings are like any other beings. They have their own agenda. They do some good, they do some bad. Their relationship with humans is the issue. With Earth is the issue. And from my studies, these are the same beings in all cultures. None
I
of
think
these
he's speaking
gods,
about the one in Genesis 1.
none of these gods came to be humans' friends. Well, I won't even say that because you do have some of these beings that actually aided humans in certain ways. But for the most part, you're dealing with a master slave relationship. And what I'm telling you is the Neteru in Egypt is the same as the Elohim in the Bible, the same as the Anunnaki in Sumeria, same as the Mimis in Australia, the same as the Nomo in the Dogon. But humans are fascinated by these beings because they seem to be more powerful or have more technology. And so they're worshiping their slave masters. So these beings are no different from the way we treat animals, the same way we treat cows. We herd them. When they, a sheep will swear that the shepherd loves them, but the shepherd eventually is going to eat them or turn them into a coat. So humanity, these beings have ran a psychological program. When you read in all their religions, I don't care if it's in Egypt or the Bible, there's been some divine truth tied into them, but their political relationship with humanity is control and worship And the word worship means work. You understand? And that's why we're arguing. That's why, and these beings, they're like a family. And humans are their chess pieces, and we're fighting over which one. Like Gideon, he basically serves the president of Russia, and somebody else serves the president of Ukraine. Gideon is willing to die for Yahweh, this extraterrestrial being, and somebody else is willing to die for Yahweh's brother. But they're a family of beings, and we can see this throughout human history. They're all the peoples of the earth is telling the same story about their interaction with these beings. And they have told us that you can't trust a human. When you read the Bible, cursed is the man that trusts in another man. And they specifically understand the human species, and that's why they attack women in their religions, because they know you look at it as I'm coming somewhere, I want to take control of this species. I study them. What is key to this species? Oh, they're women. On earth, the woman is key because they give birth to children epigenetically when the baby's in their womb. So that's why we go after Eve. Now, Eve is going to psychologically transmit this worshiping and stuff to her children. You see what I'm saying? You can see this in the Bible. That's why it's misogynistic in most of these Abrahamic religions, because it's all about dividing and conquering humanity. And to do that, you have to set up all type of divisions: men, women, races, white, black, all of it. And they tell you he did it at the Tower of
I mean,
Babel.
damn, bro. What is you talking about?
That he split up the nations and divided us with different tongues and all
Napah,
of
you
that.
there?
So these beings have invaded the planet. I
Yeah,
know it's
wrap
not.
it up, bro, because you off the subject now, bro.
No,
Like,
I'm
for
not.
real.
We're talking about the Elohim.
Now
These
you just
beings.
pontificating and like.
Well, you got to listen. Too bad. These beings have invaded the planet, yo. You have been in a real live planetary, and it sounds crazy,
Bro,
but
she asked you about
if
Elohim
you
in
read
Genesis
the
1 and
story,
1. Now you're
story,
talking about all type of
all right,
stuff and
bro,
you
hold on.
mixing it up together, bro.
It
Like
don't
that ain't
matter.
fair
This
to the
is what
people
the
that
people
really
need.
can't keep up,
Hey,
bro.
bro, until Napah
You
come
gotta
in,
stop taking advantage of people
shut up.
like that,
Get
bro.
some knowledge.
Everybody can't keep
So
up like
if
that,
you
bro. You
read,
gotta have some integrity, bro.
hey, shut up. If you read the Bible, now when I say the we've been invaded, people think of Hollywood and movies and say you sound crazy. But what I'm telling you is they have to believe that.
Look, I
It tells
understand, bro.
you.
You want to get it
It
off, bro.
tells
But
you. It
she
tells
asking
you.
about Elohim in
I'm
Genesis
talking
1.
about the
Who is that?
Elohim. Be quiet, bro.
You're
It
mixing them
tells
all up,
you.
man. It's
What
crazy.
does the Bible tell you about these beings? That they were cast out of heaven to the earth.
How
So
can
that
they be
means.
cast out of
So that
heaven, fool,
means
when
that
Elohim
they
in Genesis
came.
1 created the
That
heaven?
means they
See how
came.
you confuse, like you can
Hey,
confuse the
bro,
people?
be
Like, bro, for
quiet, bro.
real, bro?
You're being rude. So what I'm trying to show y'all is you got to
Lex, I'm
think
going to say
about,
it slow.
why do you think humans worship?
Elohim
Hey,
cannot be
bro.
cast
Hey,
out of
Sakina, do you
heaven
got the
if Elohim created heaven.
handles?
Stop talking to the people like they
Hey,
really
be
slow,
quiet,
bro.
man. You can talk after me, bro.
But I'm saying, I got to
All
listen to
right,
this,
man,
bro.
but then get off the panel if you don't want to listen. So what I'm saying is, what y'all got to realize, and this is what I want y'all to think about. Why do we even have a tendency to worship something outside of us in the sky and all it is? And then look at the word worship. It means work.